Good morning, ladies and degenerates. Another day, another awesome opportunity to open some boxes from the best live breaking community on the planet. I got my left hand Saturday morning there with me in Chinmay. Super happy to be back with you guys. My name is Rob. If you are unable to read the three letters below my body, that's on you. So thought I would say that and reach that out loud. Now there actually are a lot of people that kind of view this as a podcasting format. Don't really watch, but they do decide to listen. So there you go. Chinmay and Rob with you. Getting ready to get started. We do have an amazing jersey pre-fill. Quarterback Sneak 16. So if you are tuning in to watch that, don't fear. We will be right around the corner with that. But I got to get caught up with my main man here. Again, it's a weekly catch-up right now. So you guys are lucky enough to see behind the scenes and catch it on air while Chinmay and I reacquaint with each other. So how's this past week been for you, my man?
It's been really good. I was at a friend's wedding last night. So
nice.
It's been good. This is the last Saturday without college football.
Yeah, it's a good point. Week 0, as you call it, starts next week. So, and the rest of the college world does. So, was there any hazing going on last night? Because I could see they took your beard for the wedding. Last night.
That was self-inflicted. Self-inflicted hazing on my part.
Yeah, so, I walked in and I was kind of like, dude, where the hell's Chinmay today? Like, this is very, very odd. So, again, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, hit that shared button. We're on 5 different platforms. We just went live on Instagram as well. Something we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Confarte, J-Bomb, Gio Sosa, and others. Feel free to drop some live comments if you're trying to figure out what this is. This is Ultimate Autographs, the one-stop shop for the best live breaking on the interweb. Make sure to click that link I just dropped in the chat to get yourself started. So, if you are not familiar with how things go here, we have 2 things to kick off every single show for 32 shows across our webpage. We are unlike any other break room. We are live for a bare minimum 4 times today, 9, 12, 3, and 6. Today, we're live for 5 shows. We got our 10:30 show much, much later in the day tonight. So, Tritty enough, what's going on, Tris? Good to see you, buddy, also known as Bean on Twitch, asking us, do I have any breaks? So we can figure that out as we go along. You are not in this upcoming jersey break. I can guarantee you that, my friend, but we can figure that out as we go along. We have our Gridiron Game Day High Roller Hard Count Audible and our QB Sneak, which we are about to get into. So before I do the dice roll and the chase wheel spin, figure I'd get this out of the way early. And ask the box number for you guys to get ready. So, speaking of, by the way, for those that are wondering, what is this dice roll you speak of, Rob? Well, this is how we get things kicked off. If we do end up going to the wheel, or when we do our chase wheel spin at the end of the show, this is going to toss y'all guys around to figure out how we randomly decide our divisions. This isn't like a lot of other break rooms where you choose your team and you get hopped in and you see if you win your team. This is not like that. We have 6 different six different series that I told you guys from, and that's going to decide how that all gets figured out. So, with that being said, my friend, the boys of the late night rolled a 10. What are we going to get to on this Saturday morning?
Going with 9 again.
Same thing as always, Mr. Consistency.
2026 is the year of number 9.
The heartbeat never changes.
Except if you're JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
it's not your year.
not the year of 9. Which, no offense to JJ, I hope it stays that way for a while. So, you know what? I'm going to roll 6. I'm going to keep it light and easy. And it may have to do with how many unanswered runs the Miracle White Sox scored last night. Came back down 4-0. And Jake Rogers, who, by the way, crazy fact about Jake Rogers, he is only the second player, first guy since 1888, since probably my great-great-great-grandpappy was fighting in the Civil War, to play for 4 different teams in 1 month.
Wow.
So, and he ended it last night for the Sox with a walk-off home run. Let's see what we got. It's your show. It's your show, baby. Rocket 9. Feeling fine to get ourselves started off. Now, Chinmay and I are very similar in this way. We might be the only people on staff, in all honesty, that would like to handpick what the chase wheel spin's going to be. We kind of get, like a 6th sense to get a flow of where the show is going to be going. Now, despite us doing a jersey here in just a few moments, I want to go with the Gridiron. The Gridiron, it's got a very, very fun, very special connotation to it. Think of it as a deal or no deal type of setup for those that remember that game show. I'll explain once we get there. 9 headliners and 13 boxes for that. So with all that being said, I have not seen a number. Now, for those that are in the chat, that see your name up on the screen. These are the only people that are eligible to call a box number at the bottom of the ticker. And again, if that is not being said, that's A-okay. We don't take any offense to it. That's where the wheel comes in. This is a 30-box series, so this is randomly going to decide which box is going to be pulled today. First one, my man. First one, we're going to rock number 26.
26 is not available, but 27 is available.
27, all right, perfect. So we'll get that off the ticker and ready to go. Speaking of the Vikings, how about that? Tristan, I'm going to be at the Vikings game today. So speaking of the Vikings, I know last night we had some preseason NFL action. I saw that your Packers gave an absolute spanking to the Denver Broncos. Now, only if those games were any indication of how your season was going to go. Hopefully it does get the vibes going early, pick up some early dubs. But, you know, you're not going to see a lot of the same guys on the gridiron that you are in the preseason.
Packers-Vikings is week 1.
Packers, yeah. So let's see how the Vikings look today at home, of course, against the Baltimore Ravens. So, Tristan, have fun, buddy, but make sure to get into some awesome live breaking action here. So, 9 on the dice roll. Going to toss you folks around here. I moved back to Twitch for shorter delay. There you go, Tris. I was going to say, haven't seen you on the YouTube platform as of yet. So, welcome back, Bean. Happy to have you here with us. And again, Bean is a veteran with us here in the break room. Even if you are not, if you're one of the newbies in this break, let us know how you found us. Favorite player, favorite team. This is the best live breaking community out there. So, Travis Beach up in the NFC North. Jerry Barker, NFC South. Martuis, Mauritius. Feel free to let me know how that's pronounced. That's a tough one, I'll be honest. Anything more with 3 syllables, I struggle with. Shinek in the NFC East and NFC West. Travis Beach in both AFC North or both North spots. Danielle Mathis, Douglas Hanson, and Justin Jamol. Gamol. Again, feel free to let me know how that is pronounced. Did sports broadcasting for about 6 years, so I'm very, very uptight about my phonetic pronunciation. So going into this break, guys, 5 headliners and 13 boxes. This is going to get even better for the headliner ratio. 5 headliners and out of 12 boxes remain. One of the most underrated defenders of the 2000s and 2010s. He played for not so many great Kansas City Chiefs teams. We got Tamba Hali.
Ooh. Tamba
Hali, funny enough, actually pulled this bad boy on a retro mini yesterday. Don't see a whole lot of Tamba going on here, but hallelujah for Justin Jamol. Justin, baby, congratulations, my man. $31 took him 1 spot to possibly pick up his first UA win.
Yeah.
Not sure if this is his first one, but if it is, again, this is like a hot blackjack table. You're 1 for 1 now. You're batting 1,000. You can't leave your lovely, lovely dealers here. So I won his authentic yesterday. Good morning, fellas. So yeah, so an authentic element. Now it wasn't the mini, right, Herm? Because that was the retro mini that I pulled. Maybe it happened later in the day.
Morning, Herm. Morning, Rick Pickett as well. Chiming in from Facebook.
Pickle Rick, what's up, buddy? Good to see Mr. Pickett. Now, Rick is usually a Twitch connoisseur himself, but he's on Facebook this morning where he found us. And again, we have so many different platforms for you folks to tune into. 2026 has definitely been the year of change, which crazy enough, a week from now, I know you said college football is starting up, but a week from now, we will have just 3 months remaining in this calendar season. Yeah. We've had a lot of change go on. Most recently, our new overlay display that we have for you guys to see. So let us know your thoughts about it, guys. Let us know, because we're always trying to change for you folks out there.
I do want to bring something to people's attention.
Please do.
You mentioned the Gridiron Tycoon series, which is, in fact, our chase for this show. We are 4 to go in this quad. There were 2 spots bought into recently in that quad. So it was 6 to go, but is now 4 to go. So that quad is potentially looking like something folks want to do. And there is, at least among the headliners listed, a triple up in the NFC North with the Randy Moss helmet, the triple signed Bears Speedflex helmet, and Mike Singletary would presumably be on a Bears lid.
You would think so. Yeah. Regardless, it's going to be a Bear, Chicago or Baylor, whichever one he prefers. So, and a great transition, my friend, to get ourselves into our first series of the morning. Again, drop the live break page for you folks in the chat for you to play along and join us today. Again, good morning, Rick. One is authentic yesterday. Good morning, fellas. Yeah, it was an authentic helmet, no mini. Shout out to you, Hermie. Let's get yourself another couple of wins here this morning. 9 headliners, 13 boxes, 6 golden tickets remain. And this is where the trend's going to go. Again, that's why I handpicked that for the Chase Wheel Spin. Could kind of see that popping in. And it is the best headliner to box ratio out of anything we currently have in the live break room. So, 4 to go in that quad, 6 to go in the single, 7 in that double. I'll get along and explain what these golden tickets are at the end of the rundown. Again, 3 AFC North, 3 NFC South. Speaking of 3, let's start with a trifecta. Not necessarily just a potential triple up in that NFC North, but 3 signatures on one helmet for an NFC North helmet. Jay Cutler, Devin Hester, and Matt Forte. So for a lot of Chicago Bears fans, and trust me, there are a lot of them here in the Chicagoland area. Chinmay is certainly not an exception to that. There's a lot of Green Bay Packers fans as well. This is a threesome that, I understand you guys had the Bears kryptonite during this era and Aaron Rodgers. As they like to say, he owned them, and he certainly did. But again, these two teams matched off in a 2010 NFC Championship game, and I think the Bears would have gave the Packers a much better fight if Jay Cutler did not unfortunately get injured towards the start of that game. Cutler, probably the best quarterback this century, not named Caleb Williams now, who we all anticipate to be arguably the best Bears quarterback of all time when it's all said and done.
It's not a high threshold, to be very clear. But Caleb has proved that he can be that guy.
Yeah.
To not only be a great all-time Bears quarterback, but potentially one of the all-time great quarterbacks in the NFL in general.
Yeah, this past year, right? Mr. Fourth Quarter, the Iceman, as is now stolen from George Gervin, given to by all Bears fans around. But again, Matt Forte and Devin Hester, no slouches as well. The greatest special teams player of all time. Solid wide receiver as well. And you want to talk about the word underrated? Matt Forte is underrated as underrated gets. Yes. All you had to do was play fantasy football. Not to say that's a true indicator of how great a player is on the field. But again, a PPR king in Matt Forte. Great receiving back. A super, super awesome running back out of Tulane. This is only the second time I have seen this. Triple sign for the Speed Flex. You're always great at doing research on your side. Not really sure where to price this Speed Flex. More signatures, the better on a Speed Flex. But what do you say this would probably value at? It's
interesting because those 3 players probably I have not seen on a Speed Flex helmet in combination.
Yeah.
I've seen Hester with some other Bears players. I've seen Cutler and Forte together.
Really?
Okay. I haven't seen Cutler, Forte, and Hester together.
Yeah.
The Speed Flex alone autograph is going to be it's obviously going to be 4 figures. Where I would place it though, I'd probably have to let's see if there are. Somebody already Googled it beforehand.
There you go. Yeah. All trying to get that helmet value there. Rick's taking a shot in the dark, saying it's around 1,200 or so. Again, probably a pretty realistic guess as to what that's going to be. And again, guys, that quad spot, which is at 4 to go, 552. Again, if that's the ballpark, about 2.5 times the value. And obviously the quad, you're going to get 4 bites of the apple for that. So once you find that, give me a heads up if you do. Hermie said every time Cutler got pinched, he was on the sideline. Yeah, definitely some conflicting opinions about Cuddy. But one thing you cannot deny, Herm, his arm talent was very, very special. Now, his leadership qualities, probably a little bit left to be desired. But, man, I remember even when I was a youngling, how big of a deal it was when the Broncos moved on from him. What, like his 3rd year? I think like it was very, very young in his career with Denver that he got moved on from. So speaking of moving on, Randy Moss on the beautiful Viking standard authentic helmet. The greatest Viking of all time, in my opinion. You can do a lot of things across the board for the Vikings. Fran Tarkenton, Adrian Peterson, a lot of great potential options that you could go for the Vikings. But this guy, I think he's the 2nd greatest wide receiver of all time. Again, that's subjective. You can have that up to opinion, of course. But in terms of a big-time player in big-time games, unfortunately, until he got to the Pats in 2007, only Super Bowl that Randy ever played in his career, didn't play. He played in a lot of playoff games for Minnesota, but never made it deep enough in the playoffs for us to see him on the biggest stage. But, of course, that's no fault through his own. 2nd most touchdowns of all time. Tris said the only NFL teams I need are the Broncos, Raiders, Jags, Bills, Commanders, Lions, and Saints. So to me, it sounds like you still need quite a few, my friend, to complete your collection. Now, Tris, do you care what necessarily they're on, or as long as you have the other teams in your collection? I think that's a really fun thing to do here, man. We provide all teams all the time. Even if you don't see a team that you are hungry for in the photo or secondary headliners, Chinmay, that does not mean they're not hiding out there in the hidden gems. So, just some food for thought for you guys. I wanted the Bronco Cutler. Yeah, Bronco Cutler for sure. I still think Jay put up some very solid seasons with Chicago. What we could get, not Fanatics, LOL, of course, I wouldn't sell that one. Yeah, no, for sure. And again, one thing we always say here in the break room, and it really stands true to the test of time, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Once we put that triple sign speed flex in front of Chinmay, he might get nauseous. He's not the biggest fan of Bears memorabilia. He's not going out and paying top dollar or quote unquote overpaying for that. But if you find somebody, and there's a lot of people in the Chicagoland area that collect Bears merchandise and memorabilia, they'd be like, here, a blank check.
Yeah.
You choose the number for me. And they'd possibly overpay for something like that, especially because those three on a lid together, Chinmay, is not a very commonly seen item.
It's not. It's so uncommon, in fact, that when I type it into Google, it links to our Ultimate Autographs break page with that actual helmet. So I don't have a comp on the exact helmet because it's linking to our own break page where we're showing that helmet.
Yeah.
I'd probably agree with Rick's comp of about 1,200 or so. I think it's a little bit more, but I think around 1,200, 1,300, somewhere between there is probably an accurate valuation.
Yeah, I would say that as well. But you were worried about this coming into the show. You're like, well, does Rick still like me? What if I say no to the Bears? Is he still going to like me? So he confirms that he still likes you despite his faults.
Yes.
Which, by the way, Tris, again, we can check on that for you with some of the live breaks. But I do encourage you, my friend, every single break that you buy into, obviously you know this by now, you do get an email confirmation of the breaks that you buy into. So it'd be much easier for us on our end if you ended up sending your order number in the chat for us. That way we can copy and paste that. We can look that up immediately for you. So again, Randy Moss and the tri-sign Bears lid, and this guy sandwiched in the middle. Definitely not a guy that you want to overlook. I don't think this guy has ever been overlooked in his entire career. Speaking of a guy that didn't get a whole lot of playoff success because didn't get a lot of bites of the apple in his Lions tenure, former first overall pick and now reigning NFL MVP in Matthew Stafford. We do have a great Lions fan on staff in Alex Neatling, who's moved on to bigger and better things than being here in the break room. But on Sundays, Alex used to be my regular host and producer for 3 shows. Alex is a guy who was telling me, again, he's been a Lions fan. His dad has season tickets. And he said it genuinely hurt Lions fans across the board when they saw Stafford raise the Lombardi because of all the memories. And again, you got to think of Lions history with their franchise, right? Probably their greatest quarterback maybe ever in the history of their franchise in terms of success. A guy that only played in 2 playoff games and got one and done in each of those, right? And probably 9 or 10 years as a Detroit Lions. So, but Staff, the second he gets traded, of course, for the Goff for Stafford swap, wins a Super Bowl immediately. And now Chinmay, as rightfully so, they are the presumptuous favorites to come out of the NFC.
So, Tristan, you were in a hard count break that happened.
Okay.
That must have happened yesterday at some point. You're also in the mini break that has not happened, this double number 3 in the minis. Okay. So that's halfway home, so 4 to go there. But you are in that break, and that still has not happened.
Okay, awesome. So just
we are also... I said we're 4 to go in that gridiron quad.
Yes.
We are also 4 to go in that gridiron single. So if the quad is not necessarily your thing, that single break is also halfway home, something that you could jump into.
Yeah.
As far as the Rams this year, it's so crazy that the Rams can basically have this very nonchalant attitude toward acquiring star players, seemingly. You look at some franchises that are very hesitant to offer big contracts or give up a lot of draft picks, and the Rams are just like, screw it, like let's go for it. Myles Garrett, the big trade, Trent McDuffie coming in, Aaron Donald is potentially going to unretire now.
Yeah,
like they are loading up for sure for this season, and I think they won't admit this, but I think that Stafford having an MVP season last year gave them that extra jolt to go make these moves because if you remember last year, at this time last year, Matthew Stafford was dealing with back pain to the point where we were questioning whether he would play in week 1 or not. Not only did he play in week 1, he delivered an MVP level season.
Yeah.
And so despite them taking Ty Simpson, I have my own thoughts on that, which we can dive into at a different point in time if we ever get Ty Simpson memorabilia.
I'm sure we will.
Aside from that, they have done everything to basically say, like, we have an MVP quarterback. Let's just go for it.
We got to go win right now.
Yeah,
right?
let's just go for it.
And truthfully, ever since they've
and
acquired...
it did cost them. It did cost them. They gave up a first-round pick for McDuffie. They gave up Jared Verse and first-round picks for Myles Garrett. So, and Verse was not only... was he a first-round pick, but he was a very impactful player right away for the Rams. So they gave up a lot to make these moves, but they know that if they can stay healthy, they will be in the mix.
Yeah, they have more. They definitely have more than a puncher's chance. They have a knockout chance for sure. And the old adage is the only way that we can lose or beat ourselves is by losing and beating to ourselves. Beating ourselves up. I don't think that's the thing for the Rams. I think injuries is the only significant thing. Yeah. Whether Stafford's age catches up to him, or again on the defensive side of the ball, some of their big time acquisitions. Because again, truthfully, if you look at it on the surface from their 52-man roster. I don't think that there's any real deficiencies on either side. Of the
I think they have some issues on the offensive line for sure. Yeah, and that was again one of the criticisms with them drafting Simpson with the 13th pick. They do have some offensive line concerns, and Stafford is always you want to be cautious with his health. But aside from that, they're pretty loaded at almost every key position. And it's just a matter of withstanding the 17-game season and the postseason.
Speaking of big defenders that have been on the move, we just talked about Trent McDuffie, Myles Garrett. Not only did this guy get on the move, he slightly moved. Instead of switching conferences, he just switched teams in the division. A team that was the presumptuous favorites going into last year. But, despite last year being essentially a year from hell for the Ravens, they still finished around 500 in a, let's call it not so competitive AFC North. There's a lot of teams that are looking for a bounce back in the AFC North this year, and I think the Ravens are at the top of that list. Yeah. Trey Hendrickson signed a 4-year contract extension upon being traded. For signing from Cincinnati to Baltimore. Guys, this lid is absolutely gorgeous. This is the newest line of Ravens lids that we have acquired. You can see it right here in the description, the 2026 Darkness Alternate Authentic lid. This is a chef's kiss, man. Cannot wait for them to debut these jerseys and these helmets as well. This is a great looking lid. And when you think of the Baltimore Ravens, you think of dark, you think of rainy, you think of spooky. True Halloween colors through and through. We always get ourselves, I call it the Royalty Raven lid, that pure purple lid that they debuted last Thanksgiving. Curious to see when they debut these bad boys this year. But do you think Trey Hendrickson, arguably being the biggest acquisition this Ravens team has made, do you think that it's enough to revamp a defense that was terrible last year? And do you see them as the odds-on favorites in the AFC North?
I don't think they're the odds-on favorites in the AFC North necessarily. And I'm going to qualify that because, again, you talked about the injuries last year for the Ravens. Yeah. The Bengals have had their fair share of injuries as well. The Steelers are banged up right now going into the regular season. So the three teams that you would consider to be winning this division or in contention for this all have the big injury question of whether they can stay healthy or not. Now, Hendrickson obviously switching from the Bengals to the Ravens is a big move within the division. I think that's part of the reason bringing in a guy like Jesse Minter to oversee your organization and your team. The Ravens have that's part of their identity of being a good defensive team. Yeah. And so they definitely want to get back to that. And Trey Hendrickson's a big part of that. One thing that you talked about the uniqueness of the helmet. This is the only place where you can get Trey Hendrickson memorabilia. So Trey Hendrickson signatures are not available anywhere else. He's an Ultimate Autographs athlete, UA exclusive guy. Yeah. So that's just that much more unique with that helmet. So not only is the helmet different, but Trey Hendrickson, you cannot get anywhere but Ultimate Autograph.
And if you find him signing anywhere else on anything else, contact us immediately.
It won't be Trey Hendrickson.
It won't be Trey. Yeah, it'll
it's
be
his body double.
Yeah, it'll be a hooray.
Do NFL players have body doubles?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Maybe for some of the commercials that they do.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be a hooray Hendrickson.
Yes.
If you see that. So, and by the way, he was asked last week, what was the bigger signing for you this offseason, going to the Ravens or Ultimate Autographs? I'll let you guys assume what he said with what it is. But yeah, Trey, he actually just had a signing in the DMV, Baltimore area this past week. So if anybody was out there, I know Herm, our boy in the chat this morning, is in the DMV area. So he said that he was possibly looking into going. So let us know if you ended up popping out there, Herm. Warren Moon, Omari, and Hampton, a guy that's going to be a big fixture of another AFC offense in the Chargers. And Mike Singletary, like Chinmay mentioned earlier, part of a triple up option for that NFC North. So this is our chase wheel spin. Like we said, we are halfway home. We are at midfield in the single and quad. No reason why we cannot get those 5 boxes out of here. Now, again, 9 and 13. Again, I'm not the greatest for top of the head math. I've got my calculator here. I'll be on a 69% chance, guys. Essentially a 70% chance of locking down yourself a headliner. So when it comes to getting ourselves something very, very nice in this break room, you guys can see at the very top of the title here. We are very, very antsy in our pantsies to get these out of the break room. The high roller. Now, when you see 9 boxes and 3 headliners, if you're not around for high rollers, this actually was Thursday night. This is a huge once-a-month type series. Very, very rarely do we see this make it to a weekend morning. I think only one time, maybe we've seen a high roller together on a weekend. It's pretty rare for us to see
but
this.
It was only 1 or 2 boxes.
Correct.
Yeah,
so
it's not like we have the whole high roller series waiting for us on the weekend. One more thing I did want to mention about the gridiron.
Yeah, go for it.
All those, if it's not a Speed Flex helmet listed, it isn't authentic. So all these listed headliners, Warren Moon, Omari and Hampton, Mike Singletary, are all authentic helmets. Yeah. Because the Speed Flexes are the Bears triple sign, the Stafford, and I think the Calvin Johnson, which was already pulled, was a Speed Flex. So the 3 Speed Flexes, 2 of them are still available. And then the rest of the helmets in the series are authentics. So all those secondary headliners are authentic helmets.
Yeah, and in case you guys ever want to get like an idea of what's going to be in the series, this is always at the bottom of our photoed headliner that we got whenever you click on this. Autograph full-size authentic helmets. So that's also another great descriptor. Good call out by Chinmay there as well. Also, speaking of things that we got to talk about, almost kind of forgot the importance of this series there for a second. After a box winner is determined, our host will show a digital board with 30 cards. Now, if you're wondering what the hell that is, I talked about this opening up the show. This is a deal or no deal type of setup. So the importance of the series, Chinmay, and I'll go through this in just a second here. The goal of this series is for this to have the most funds around. Now, every card that is won doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting a positive fund. It could be a negative fund as well. So whoever has the most amount of money attached to their name from the cards at the end of the series, Chinmay, is going to win 10 golden tickets. Now, at the end of this rundown, you and I will compare and contrast, talk about some of our favorite lids. We got some big dog stuff. Dude, yesterday, I wonder if it's still there. There was an M&M D12 slab that was at the bottom of the webpage. I wonder, there it is. So M&M is still alive and well.
5 tickets.
LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, 25 ticket ball is still alive and well there. I saw a couple of golden ticket balances yesterday. I think there were about 2 or 3 people. Yeah, Messi was in there as well.
Wow.
There was I think there was a great Tomlinson that got redeemed. Yeah. So I think, there it is, the LT. There was a Crystal Bo Jackson that got claimed as well. So, guys, we are really upping our game in the locker. You guys need to go after and chase it. So, just so you guys can get a nice Gridiron Tycoon update here. Speaking of Herm's on the board here. You got 200K, my friend. But the leader as of right now, it appears to be Devin Shinley. So, Devin's on top. I know it's hard for you guys to see above Joe Lake, but he has 225K. Followed by Keith Frederick and Tim Sullivan. There's no second and third place prizes. There is a sole winner at the top.
Yep, with 10 tickets.
And you know what? In the great words of Drake, you know at the top it's lonely. So,
Alfredo, good morning. Alfredo, if you are not already, I would encourage you to jump into this mini break because not only do we have a Lawrence Taylor mini, but there is a double up possibility for Giants with Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
So you could get the past Hall of Famer with the current star of the Giants, who one day hopes to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think the talent is very, very evident, but we don't want a supernova. We don't want somebody to bright, very shiny early on, but then burn out quickly. And again, I have Alfredo heard this yesterday for me. I'm drinking the Giant Kool-Aid this year, so you and I have talked about that as well. But if there's a team that's going to stand in their way, I genuinely think this is the team that's going to come out on top in the NFC East. So really quick summarization here of this. 505, right? That could be like, damn, 505 for one spot or one crate in this case. Wrong. You're actually getting 3 boxes out with the crate. And here's the cool thing. 3 headliners left, 3 crates left. Congratulations, you just did the break room math. You are getting at least one of these 3 helmets when you get a crate pulled out. So starting with the Emmitt Smith Retro Speed Flex and then following that, there could be a hidden gem Speed Flex, but there's also bare minimum going to be 2 authentic helmets that follow that. We had 4 crates yesterday when I left. There was 3 golden tickets in the NFC East, so obviously that one must have gotten pulled last night for the late night guys. Emmitt Smith Retro Speed Flex. While we were looking at this yesterday, Robbie and I, in the ballpark of about $1,600 to $1,700. This is a beautiful Dallas Cowboy original star. Hey, it's called a retro, right? It's supposed to be called a retro for a reason. The greatest player in franchise history, 3-time Super Bowl champ. 3 Lombardis on his mantle, and the only Cowboys MVP as well.
Yeah.
I think this is a hot take from me, and I want to get your thoughts on this. If the Dallas Cowboys this year are a number 1 seed in the NFC, which is a very, very hard task to get, even if they're like a 2 seed and they win the NFC East, I think Dak Prescott has a legitimate chance of winning MVP, just because they have been a pass-heavy offense. Honestly, really ever since he took the starting spot of 2016? Obviously, that was Zeke in his rookie year, him and Dak both. But it seems like, even though Javonte Williams was great last year, best year of his career, Schottenheimer clearly likes calling a pass-heavy offense. Is that too hot of a take, or is that somewhere realistic if Dallas wins?
I think
the
Dak
NFC
has already shown that he can put up MVP-like numbers. The question is whether the Cowboys will be winning enough games and whether they will be having, that playoff success. Now, obviously, the votes go in before the postseason. So, if Dallas gets a top 2 seed, I think he has a great chance, because they would only get that if he's putting up those numbers, which he always has been. The question is obviously on the other side of the ball, which is, can Dallas stop anybody? Last year, they couldn't.
Yeah.
And this year, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop many people. They might slow them down enough, though, for that offense to be able to win more games.
There's no D in Dallas last year. That's for sure. If that is my double, feel free to break it into 2 singles if it's easier. Freddie 12 House, we know who that is. Devin Shinley on top of the gridiron. Dev, you want to continue to wipe out that gridiron, my friend. You are the current leader there. And I'm assuming that's Chinmay can verify who is in that's 7, right, in that double now.
Yeah, let me see.
Okay, cool. Because we are looking for our first break. I am very okay with diluting that for our guy Dev, if that's the case.
It's not.
Oh,
Devin is but Devin is in the quad.
Okay. So Dev, if I were you, we're 4 to go in the single and the quad. Hey, if you want to pop in and you want to get this break done, if we break your quad down to the singles, that means this single will happen right now, and then the quads will go back up to 5. So again, I'm okay with that. No problem from us over here.
Up to you.
Yeah, it's completely up to you. So unless you're talking about another break you're in that has a double. So Does anyone have, let's see, I'm in the double. Okay, thank you, Jilly Bean. Good morning to you, Jill. How's it going, Box Calling Queen? Does anyone have Magic Johnson's autograph? Is it worth anything? Yeah, so Magic Johnson, we do get here on rare occasions.
We did have a Magic Johnson, autograph, dual signed with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on a Showtime poster. That's one of my favorite items in the break room.
I remember
that I've ever seen. Jill saying she can't. Well, it's up to you, Jill. It's not our call.
Yeah.
It's just up to you if you want to.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
no one else is in that double right now.
For sure.
But the single and the quad have been moving. But you're welcome to stay there if you want to.
Yeah,
Larry and Magic together. Yeah.
So so obviously that would move to 2 singles, and then the double would move back up to 8. Jill, like you said, it's totally up to your own volition, my friend. So it's on you if you'd like to do that. So moving right along here, I do want to get back into so yeah, that's the what we got here for the 3 crates that are remaining. You know what's better than 1 Matthew Stafford rivalry speed flexes? 2 of them. 2 of these bad boys, so more Stafford, more fun.
We're in the Stafford wave right now.
We're at the Stafford era here in the break room.
We're sort of like on the. It's like a bell curve. We're on the back end now of the bell curve.
Yeah,
we're still getting a lot of Stafford stuff, but we're on the declining end of that bell curve now. Because once it ends, there will be no Matthew Stafford memorabilia until later on post the NFL season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yep. Rock that. Thank you. Much appreciated. So that Stafford rivalry speed flex again. The bell curve's a great analogy too, just because of the fact that I always call him seasonal Stafford, right? And again, we are not. There are certain guys that we are going to see on a consistent basis here in the break room. Lawrence Taylor, Jamar Chase, Michael Irvin come to mind. We get those guys consistently in series right now. Bo Jackson, I think, is another bell curve guy. We had Bo sign here recently, so naturally, we're going to get into a lot of their memorabilia. Staff has not signed here in studio, at least to my knowledge here, since I've been here at UA. So again, it's a guy that, like you said, we might not have him for a few month period.
Yeah.
So right now, if you don't have a Staff in your collection, you got 2 of them out there. This is also valued between $1,600 to $1,700 that we've seen on Fanatics and open retail markets.
And hey, if Stafford wins another MVP and wins another Super Bowl, you're looking at probably $2,500 at least for that helmet.
Going higher and higher, my friends. And this guy, again, Randy Moss. Say hello to our old friend again, Randy Moss. Get him on an authentic in the gridiron. Get in the quad for that so you have a chance to triple up in the NFC North. If you want to go a little higher, I want to go higher, Neil Funk. You get him on the Winter Warrior here. Beautiful jet black visor. The greatest Viking of all time. Very cool there. Again, guys, rocking and rolling on that 3 crates left in the high roller. And again, if you were unable to play in the high roller on Thursday night, again, this is a blessing in disguise for it to make it to the weekend. We need some big ballers to get that rocking and rolling. The hard count, little Omaha right now in the break room. 4 headliners, 11 boxes. We're rocking the singles and doubles the rest of the way, folks, here in the UA Live break room. Speaking of Michael Irvin, you speak of him and he appears. The playmaker, really the peanut butter to Emmitt Smith's jelly, a part of their dynasty run in the late 80s and early 90s. Michael Irvin, as great of a personality on the field, as explosive as he was on the field. One of the most memorable players in NFL history. The big 3 between him, Aikman, and Smith. Speaking of seasonal hits, I think we feel that way about Troy Aikman. We've been right now in our lull of not having Troy Aikman. Haven't had him for quite a while,
actually. It's been a long time. And again, like very similar to Matthew Stafford, we probably will not see Troy Aikman for a substantial period of time now. And then when we do see him, he'll be on a lot of items.
Yeah.
But only for that subset of time. It's
going to come out in waves. So get him around the corner, which again, probably when football season starts in about a month or so. I can imagine he will be back.
Not even a month. We're 3 weeks away.
Even better, 3 weeks away. Yeah. You know what gets me going is when I see the Scott Hansen update every week. And he's like, three more Sundays without football, 2 more Sundays. It seems like it's amazing how one guy on Red Zone on NFL Network is a part of our lives.
If we're counting preseason football, I think last Sunday was the last Sunday without football.
Without football actually going on. Yeah. So this guy, Mr. Durability, rarely missed a Sunday. And up until the very, very end of his career with a brief tenure with, I think, the Titans and the Colts. Andre Johnson, Mr. Texan through and through. One of the greatest wide receivers of all time. A person we get religiously here in the break room. But you can never have enough of an all-time great. Top 15 in receiving yards all time. The great Andre Johnson. The only problem with Andre, unfortunately, did not have enough consistently great quarterback play. Matt Schaub made a couple of Pro Bowls, led the league in passing yards once, due in large part to Andre Johnson. So one of the all-time greats, man. Really slick, authentic helmet here. Ironically, we were just talking about Trey Hendrickson on the darkness lid in the gridiron. This is the lid that I was referring to with the Royalty Raven Purple that that they debuted on Thanksgiving last year. This is a beautiful lid for Trey Hendrickson. You get the Golden Gate on the front of the lid, and of course you got the iconic Ravens logo on the side of it. Trey Hendrickson gonna make a big impact after getting paid handsomely to move from Cincinnati to Baltimore this year. LaShawn McCoy, friend of the Break Room, 2011 rushing yard champ. Great stuff here. Less than $100, folks, to get yourself rocking and rolling in that hard count series. So, again, we're looking for our first break here of the UA morning here with you guys. Game day multi-sport. Again, last show update for you folks, Sunday at 3 p.m. So, a little bit more than 24 hours to go on this last series, and this is more than worth it to me. $80 on the single at bare minimum. We should be going after a Tony Gonzalez replica helmet. I looked this up on the open market last weekend when this bad boy was still here. If I remember correctly, Chime, this is going for about $500 or so retail for a Tony Gonzalez replica. In my opinion, the greatest tight end of all time. Look at the back of the football card.
Certainly top 2, top 3 conversation, right?
Yeah.
You have guys like Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gates. That's probably the list right there. Those 4. Gonzalez, Gronk, Gates, Kelce. Those are probably the 4 guys that you think of when you think of, maybe Jimmy Graham would also be in there for potential peak, right? But definitely longevity wise, I think Gonzalez and Kelce are your 2 real sort of longevity plays. And Tony Gonzalez, again, known mostly as a Chiefs tight end, but had some great years with the Falcons as well, and probably doesn't sign a whole lot of Falcon stuff, so just makes that helmet that much more unique. I wanted to go back to Andre Johnson because you talked about how he barely had any quarterbacks in Houston that would get him the football. Despite that, Andre Johnson, in a 6-season stretch, in the middle of his career, crossed the 1,000-yard mark in 5 of those seasons.
Yeah.
And the one season that he did not, he only played 7 games with injury. And in 3 of those seasons, he crossed the 1,500-yard mark.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty good if you don't have the best quarterback to throw to. Quarterbacks throwing to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could only think of, I'm trying to think of great wide receivers from that era that got, I can't really use Fitz because he had Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer. So I'm just trying to think of great wide receivers from that time period that didn't have the best quarterback play. Honestly, man, it's kind of hard to, he might have gotten the biggest short end of the stick when it came to, now, of course, it's a partnership, right? The quarterback makes the wide receiver look as good. But in this case, the wide receiver really made the quarterback look that much better. So Andre Johnson, again, guys, great authentic helmet, probably priced, I would say, in the $700 range or so. And again, that could be yours for just 79 smackaroos. Secondary headliner, a guy before the dynasty was created in the 2010s by the Chicago Blackhawks. This is one of the most iconic, most well-respected. A guy that still lives in the Chicagoland area. If you ever had Aurelio's Pizza, you've definitely seen this guy in Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy Roenick, one of the greatest hockey players of all time, especially for a Blackhawk. An eccentric personality, but a guy that could absolutely fly on the ice. Great goal scorer and a great player for the Chicago Blackhawks. Not going to be a Flyer. We do not have a Flyers divisional spot, so that is going to be a Chicago Blackhawk. Not sure what the other 2 hidden gems are, but I will tell you folks this. Once we end up pulling the Roenick and the Gonzalez, that series will be shelved, just so you folks know. And again, 9 times out of 10, we get a series out of the room. Another one takes its place. So you want more memorabilia, you want more boxes in the room. Again, if we want to give you guys back some stuff, you got to be able to give some stuff as well to play in these live breaks. Quarterback sneak. We ended up opening up with this bad boy to start off our show, looking for our next break to follow it. 31 on the single, 62 on the double, and that is what we are going to rock and roll without with. Speaking of, Andre Johnson.
Yep.
Andre
Get the helmet and the jersey, and then you can show up to a Texans game doing your best to Andre Johnson.
And people will squint. They'll be like, wait.
You could be Andre Johnson's body double.
Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Speaking of body doubles, there you go. I don't think Andre, you probably would need one if you went out to go run a few routes I think he'll be pretty sore. I don't think Advil will save him from any of those hits. Andre Johnson talked about him just now. Fred Warner, I was incredibly high on the Niners last year, just as high this year, but for whatever reason, man, they got to get away from that damn power plant that they practice next to. It seems to zap them of all of their powers. Because
it's like in Space Jam, but instead of a basketball, it's a power station.
They got the Monstars being born at the power plant over there. But Fred Warner, we got Warner and Bosa a whole lot. And look, they are an offensively minded and driven team. I think Kyle Shanahan will be the first ones to admit that. But again, your best offense is your best defense. It doesn't matter how many times you go down and put points up on the board. If your team is not getting stops as well, it's exhausting your offense on top of that, and it's not giving you prime field position. Just makes your job that much harder. And football, at the end of the day, it's a field position battle. And the Niners last year, very shorthanded. We saw that against the Seahawks in the postseason. But I think if you get a near fully healthy unit, I think that they are just as good and competitive on paper as any team in the NFL.
They were, despite all their injuries and struggles last year. They were one win away from winning not only the NFC West, but having the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yep.
Despite the injuries. So I think the Niners are probably, it's hard to argue with the statement that they are probably the most resilient team in the NFL.
I would say so, yeah.
That's like, it's very difficult to push back against that. And yeah, if Fred Warner is healthy, if Nick Bosa is healthy, if George Kittle is healthy, they will likely have Ricky Pearsall's already gone.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Which is tough. But if Kittle is able to suit up week 1, if Bosa and Warner are healthy, that just helps their entire unit on both sides of the ball. Trickling down with roles, you have your stars come back. It helps you settle into your roles. They will be absolutely a force to be reckoned with in not only the NFC West, but the NFC as a whole.
Yeah, as they should be. And again, I'm so excited about the addition of Mike Evans, who we have gotten basically, I would say about as soon as maybe 2 to 3 weeks after the trade became official.
As soon as he signed the contract with the Niners, and then immediately was like, "Give me some helmets to sign."
Put me in UA.
Yeah,
people got to see how great I look off these lids. Which, by the way, again, we talk about this being a rotation a lot of the times in the break room. He's another guy. Haven't seen him for a little while on Niners stuff. I'd be willing to bet once the regular season unfolds, we're going to start seeing him back in the rotation here in the break room. LaShawn McCoy, beautiful Kelly green jersey here. Great personality, awesome guy. And this is no deterrence to any other athlete we've had here on air. But again, I'm going based off the opinions of the guys that have long tenure here, like, Common, for example, said outside of him meeting Rudy, obviously the actor that played Rudy, he said that LaShawn McCoy, in terms of the energy that he brought, the energy that him and his crew that showed up here, really just overtook everything from signing the stuff in studio to being on air with Robbie and I. Such a great personality and a great guy by all accounts. So, and an even better football player. I think it was a few weeks ago, maybe even last week, you were talking about his 2 most standout performances, both in snow conditions, right?
Yeah.
Over 200 yards on the ground. So,
LaShawn McCoy snow games are something else.
Some of the best rushing performances you will ever see. This guy made a living out of stopping the run game at the line of scrimmage. All-time tackles leader, pretty good. Defensive Player of the Year, also really good, and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Over a decade apart, 2000 and 2011, just as dominant in each run for him and Ed Reed. I think that's one of the coolest stories in sports history, because obviously football, I don't need to tell anybody this, but the amount of taxing that your body takes, even though despite it being 16 games back then, really, really does a number on you. That's why you see so many early retirements of all-time great players. Ray Lewis was just as dominant a decade apart. I think one of the most underrated feats that any all-time player doesn't get credit for in NFL history. So, Chad Johnson could double up with him in that AFC North spot for the jerseys. Again, guys, jerseys, not the most value, beautiful displayed. These are all custom jerseys, by the way, guys. I don't think you can complain. $62 for potentially 2 jerseys. That's an absolute steal. So, last thing to get into and talk about, guys, is the minis. Minis 4 to go as well, so we're starting to see some headway being made here. We only rock doubles and quads. And again, you want to talk about an absolute bang for your buck. I love the minis, man. We don't really see them as much as we used to here in the break room. But again, that's kind of entirely up to you guys. We start to see these series move really quick out of the break room. They're going to be added to the rotation even more. Which, again, a lot of the times, a lot of the series that we get here in the break room, guys, we really do determine it on how long does it take for these series, to be sold out. Because once we see that they're moving and grooving really quickly, then us, from the top on down, is like, well, why would we not bring this series back? You guys obviously loved it very, very much. So the longer they stay up on the break page, the less likely the chance, obviously, it's going to be of them being brought back up for you folks.
The minis are phenomenal gift items. They're easier to display.
Yep.
They are a nice talking point as well. So let's say, you're running out of space for the full-size helmets. The minis are a great complement to that. And again, we saw Alfredo in the chat earlier, but if you're a Giants fan, got Lawrence Taylor and Malik Neighbors. It's a very easy double-up possibility right there. You have Frank Gore and Kyron Williams would likely be a double-up. Frank Gore would most likely be on the 49ers. Kyron Williams, again, most likely on the Rams. So those two probably would be another double-up.
No doubt. I think it's really cool too. Just because of the fact, like you said, if for Alfredo that's a Giants fan, you get greatness of Giants past and you get potential greatness of Giants future here. And again, two different designs on the list, two totally different designs. You got the Giants standard from Malik, and of course you got the STS on a mini for the great Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor alone, $58 just for him, an absolute steal. Adrian Peterson, AD all day, a guy that's on my Mount Rushmore of running backs, a guy that you obviously love as well. It has been, we are now going into our 15th season of not handing an MVP award to a running back. This century alone, and whenever I say century, guys, I mean from 2000 on.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of misconception with that. Adrian Peterson, I think just LT and AP are the only two guys from 2000 on that have won an MVP.
Running back MVPs, yeah. Those are the only two.
See, there you go. I'm almost tempted to get into a mini break now. Fredo, you know it as well as
it's halfway home, so it's not like you're waiting on people to get in. If you're halfway home on the break, 4 to go in that double box, and two Giants are right there for you. So not a whole lot of convincing needed, I would say, especially for Lawrence Taylor. We get a decent amount. Malik Neighbors, he's coming back now. We haven't seen him as much. He's not a regular. He's not as regular as Lawrence Taylor.
Exactamundo. So, again, rock that, run that back. And again, like Jimmy said, outside of, some mixtures, we'll kind of get some hidden gems mixed in there. On rare occasions, we'll see mini helmets as headliners in some series. But again, we don't know when we're getting this back because the practice squad will follow this. So, again, we don't know when we're going to get minis back. Frank Gore, Kyron Williams, and Jamal Charles. Really, really cool stuff on here for you guys. Looking at, Kyron Williams, NFC West, Frank Gore could be a lot of different divisions. Could be a Colt for an AFC South double up with Andre Johnson. So, guys, take advantage while you can. Fredo, if you drop that 4 down to 3 or even 2, that break will happen a lot sooner rather than later. Great question there, Bean. Is there a weekend warrior? The weekend warrior is on a vacation right now. It's on a little bit of a moratorium at the time. The weekend warrior, I'm sure, will mix back into the rotation.
Yeah.
But instead, we're kind of just rocking out regular series at a time. And again, transparency. I lie all the time outside of the break room. Sorry, Jess, if you're tuning in.
He leaves his lies at the door as he walks into
the dirty laundry is all outside of the door.
The moment he steps in the studio carpet, that's when all the lies go out the door.
Honest Abe, honest Rob. If you squint, you can't tell the difference. So the reason I'm saying that, Tris, is because if you remember, the Father's Day, the Stepfather's Day, the Father Who Never Stepped Up Day, turned into a Stash Your Cash. I think that series took about 5 weeks in totality to close out.
Yeah.
So because of that, we kind of took that as a sign where it's like, not to say it wasn't a great series, but clearly it wasn't garnering the attention we would hope that it was going to get. So because of that, we kind of put it off to the side for a bit. But again, doesn't mean it's gone forever. Just mean that it's taking a little hiatus for now.
I am excited though that even though there isn't the weekend warrior, we are getting college series back in the room, And there was a college series this week. There was a college series last week. Maybe college football starting next Saturday. We have a college series that we can get into potentially on Saturday. So that will be our substitute for the quote unquote weekend warrior series. It will be hopefully more college series.
Yeah, and even when we did have the title of weekend warrior in front of it, we rocked weekend warrior college, like you mentioned. So again, and by the way, college, you want to talk about popular series and never go out of style. You guys go crazy for college here. So that is always a positive thing. So again, we open up the series here for this 9 a.m. show, August the 22nd, 2026. Let's make it a memorable 9 a.m., guys. Truthfully, Chinmay and I have talked about this last couple of weekends. 9 a.m.s have been kick-ass. You guys have been awesome on 9 a.m.s. Flipping those flapjacks, popping those Keurig cups into your coffee makers. Which, by the way, just bought a new one for the house yesterday. I'm psyched. I can't start my mornings without K-cups and morning coffee. So, guys, if there's anything that you want to get into, again, the power of your voice and the community is very, very underrated. Let us know, like Alfredo did. He said he's tempted to get in the minis. Somebody else that's out there, again, very inexpensive series at $58. But again, what I want to kind of focus on are the top dogs, the big dogs in the room, the Gridiron Tycoon, and the High Rollers. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things here in the break room, and then after that, Chinmay and I, and obviously you folks as well, 14 people, I'm encouraged for you guys to join in the chat on this conversation. Got something written down over here, because all this football talk, I think the most important staple that people are craving to see in the regular season again, when are Rob and Chinmay going to tell us their weekly spread picks again? So that's not what's on here, but writing this down made me think of that. That was super fun, something that we did every Saturday morning.
We'll get back into that.
Last season. So, again, I just want to show you guys a couple of really cool perks about what we got in the break room. Going to talk about the rewards, going to talk about the golden tickets, and, of course, the locker as well. And then I'll get into what Chinmay and I are going to talk about down the road. So, in the great words of the Jackson 5, folks, it is easy as 1, 2, 3 here in the UA Live break room to create a rewards account. You cannot buy into the breaks without creating a free rewards account. And the coolest thing is about this account and these rewards programs, guys, you get rewarded for every single break spot that you buy into. Even a jersey single, if you want to get into that, it is 25 points per dollar spent. So it's $775, 25 times 31 gets you 775 points. Also, your way to earn points, you get $250 right off the bat for making an account. And you even get some milestone stuff. Your yearly anniversary, you get a $10 UA gift card. You also get a gift card as well for your birthday. Try not to finesse this and be like, oh, August 22nd, I'll just say my birthday's today. Well, guess what? Have fun waiting until August 22nd,
yeah, you gotta come back a whole year for that gift card to then get renewed again.
Yeah. Also, we'll send Dave out to your house to verify too. Make sure we'll check on your full government and look it up. Follow us on social media. We're streaming live on 5 different platforms every single day. Follow us there. Some cheap points you can accumulate, and $1,000 for just signing up for SMS text messages. We're not going to spam you guys, and even if we do, you can have us on silent. But you get up-to-date notifications about series that have just dropped, maybe even some series that are popping up, what's going on in some breaks that you may or not be playing in. Also, once you guys start racking up reward points, you can look just like Chinmay and I. That's exactly why you guys tune in. You can rock a hat, for example, like Chinmay is wearing, but most importantly, this is a lot of the stuff that we rock here on air, guys. UA hoodie, UA t-shirt, and shout out to my guy Sean Alexi. He actually had so many rewards points, he was actually able to redeem a UA Yeti koozie.
Oh, nice.
Saw that in shipping the other day. Hopefully Sean does enjoy that. And again, this is a cool barometer for you guys to see what points are worth dollar-wise here in the break room. So, speaking of this, most important part of our tier rewards, just to get people started in, is our practice squad collector. 75 points. If you do everything down here, right, to get yourself started, every one of these things, you could probably spend about maybe $200 and get yourself into this practice squad.
It's less than that, actually. We've calculated, because it'd be around 300 for the 7,500 points, right? It's because it's 25 points per dollar, so it's around $300 for the practice squad collector status. But if you, again, create a Signature Club account, follow us on all social media, sign up for the text alerts, you do all that stuff, you'll chip away about a fifth of that. About a fifth of that, a little more than a fifth of that is being chipped away straight off the bat. So yeah, about 240 or so to then get to practice squad collector status, which helps you get into the locker with the golden tickets. You were talking about the LeBron James basketball that was in there in the locker. You guys can check that out. It's in the same sort of row as that Eminem framed photo. It's a photo or a slab. It looks like the description says photo, but it might be a slab. We'll have to see.
It might be a framed photo. I'm just trying to see what the signature is.
But the LeBron and Wade basketball, it has a numbering on it. So it's 50. It looks like it's 58 out of either 106 or 136.
Yeah, I think it's 136.
Yeah, so it's a numbered one. So that's obviously very important. Dual signatures of two iconic players. LeBron James, we just don't get a whole lot. LeBron James is like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. We just don't get a lot of items with their signatures on them, and certainly don't get them recently. The LeBron James basketball that I had at one point earlier this year on the table, that was signed back in 2009. So that tells you how hard it is to locate LeBron James signed items. It is very difficult, and a dual sign, of two iconic Miami Heat teammates, Olympic teammates, good friends off the basketball court. It's a nice add to any collection.
Speaking of the Miami Heat, right now back in the back in the news, they added a much needed floor spacer and 4-time NBA champion Klay Thompson.
Yeah, and I think obviously Klay Thompson has lost a step or two or five. But he can still shoot the ball very well.
Yeah, he's watching right now.
Yeah, he can still shoot the ball very well. So we'll see exactly how much he can contribute. I don't know that it necessarily changes the Miami Heat's ceiling this season in terms of where they stand in the Eastern Conference, but it is a good addition for them. Now, if this was 2022 Klay Thompson that they were adding, they would be a title contender.
Yeah, no mistake about it. I'll give my short thoughts on that in a second, but sticking on the Miami Heat and the basketball here, guys, I was able to find, because you said it's out of what, 136.
It looks like.
And it's got to be, because on Upper Deck, it's the first thing you look up when you look up LeBron James and Dwayne Wade numbered signed basketball. This is the first one out of 136.
Ooh, okay.
On Upper Deck, it's also got a cert as well. It's going for $7,000. So again, if you got 25 golden tickets in your account right now, you can flip 25 trips to the chocolate factory into $7,000. Now, that is a retail value approximation. If you get people that you know in your life, big basketball collectors, LeBron James's name alone, and again, Dwayne Wade's no snuff at all, can go for even more than that.
Yeah, so that one is probably higher. Again, the bookends of the series are valued higher.
More, yeah.
But this would probably still be in the 6,000 6,500 range.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that much less valuable.
Yeah.
So, the LeBron Wade basketball, not quite at Jordan level. It's not the 35 tickets that we've required for Michael Jordan in the past, but it is a nice addition. One thing that we were talking about Mike Evans on his new team. In the locker, I see AJ Brown on the Patriots.
Yes.
So AJ Brown, another receiver who was moved in the offseason, or I guess he was traded. Mike Evans was a free agent signing. But AJ Brown on the Patriots, a new addition that we will start seeing hopefully soon. In the locker, though.
Only 3 tickets for that bad boy, too. In
the locker, though, there's obviously the Jordan Love speed flex that there's 2 Jordan Love speed flexes that have been claimed. I'm looking at the green and white one that is all souped up there for 6 tickets that was claimed. Obviously, the LaDainian Tomlinson. I call Julio Jones Red Lightning. This one is Yellow Lightning.
There you go.
And I've been looking at this video for a very long time on this computer. But hey, after this World Cup, this Lionel Messi jersey, you can't go wrong with it. It's a Barcelona jersey too.
Only 5 tickets too.
That is whoever got that is the ultimate steal.
Yeah.
That Leo Messi Barcelona jersey, I would not be surprised if it's close to a 5-figure valuation. And that may sound crazy, but a Lionel Messi Argentina jersey was like 4K, and that was a few years ago. So I would not be surprised if this Barcelona jersey, where he has won pretty much every trophy known to soccer fans, is going for close to 5 figures.
Yeah, so looking at this on the Barcelona Pro Shop store on Fanatics, going for about this, if you can see this number. So about 35.
Okay. So a little bit less. Okay, maybe the Argentina ones are a little more valuable.
Still, I mean, shit,
But
35?
Hey, that's still
For a jersey?
Yeah, that's still crazy.
I mean, we when we had that game day series, which we still have rocking, by the way, Tony Gonzalez and Jeremy Roenick, you were looking up Erling Haaland going for about 900 on this Man City jersey.
Yeah.
So I mean, you look at Erling Haaland, like you brought up a great stat about his goals in the Premier League in his first 4 years.
Basically the valuation on Messi in Barcelona.
Nuts. So a couple other things in the locker. I dropped the chat in there for you. Drop the chat. Come on, stupid. Drop the link into the chat. You don't want to drop the chat. I want to ask you a question here. So give me your favorite beginner lid. And when I say beginner, let's call that 3 to 4 tickets. Your intermediate lid, which is 5 to 7 tickets. And then your 8 to 10. We'll leave the LeBron and D-Wade out of this.
Okay.
So give me your 3/4 ticket helmet that you would love.
And these are the ones that are still available, right? Ones
Correct.
that haven't been claimed.
Correct. You can only choose one.
Okay. So of the items that have not been claimed, we're talking at 3 to 4 tickets was the first one?
Yep.
I think I know what my second lid is going to be, but that Torrey Holt is looking real nice.
Yeah,
Torrey Holt is looking real nice, but I'm probably going with this Gronk. This Gronk Bucks lid, ripped up speed flex. Looking super nice with the visor as well. I'm a big Gronk fan. I'll probably go with Gronk, but you can't go wrong with this Torrey Holt lid either.
Yeah,
that looks great as well.
Now the Gronk is incredible. I loved it's called a red ripped. What if they called it the red lightning ripped or the red ripped lightning?
Yeah.
Again, kind of similar to that. Oh my goodness. Well, I know what my 5 to 7 is going to be because I just saw it. But this guy we have not seen in the locker yet, so I got to rock with him. The multicolor, you get the pink, the black, the white, the orange. Don't know how the hell they did that color scheme, but I love it.
It's very Miami.
Tyreek Hill, exactly. I'm going to call this the Miami Vice Speed Flex, even though in the description it's the black and pink rip. Screw that. Miami Vice Speed Flex for Tyreek Hill. That'll be the 3 to 4. Quick moratorium. We'll go to our 5 through 7 favorites in a second. Guys, obviously, please feel free to use that keyboard in front of you, your phone, whatever you're watching on. Let Chinmay and I know what are your favorites, because you got to be a man or a woman, what they plan out there to go into the locker. But of course, I'm sorry.
We are 3 to go.
Yes.
In that mini break. We are 3 to go. Alfredo got into that.
There you go.
Alfredo got into that as he was talking about getting in. So he's in there. So we are 3 to go there. We are still 4 to go in that gridiron single, and we are 4 to go in that gridiron quad. So those breaks have kind of stalled out a bit, but are the closest ones to closing here as we go into the back end of this.
We're not. Show. We use this analogy all the time now. Baseball has 3 different types of pitchers. You got your starters, your middle relievers, and your closers. Right now, that gridiron, we need some closers. The doubles for the mini, we need some closers. And I believe in this community enough for the next 50 minutes or so that we're going to get ourselves a closer. How about the nice comeback by the White Sox? So what happened last night? I seem to forget. Last night, Rob, Mets were cruising, and then they became the Mets. Yeah, Fredo, I hope these look familiar, buddy. Yeah. Sorry, this is the miracle season. I'm not going to let it slip away. Yeah, the Mets, they were up 4-0 last night. Sean Burke didn't have his ace type stuff. I was out last night, and I tuned into that, and I saw that, and then I went to the world's best hibachi place, Benihana. Went there for a late dinner last night, and they had the game on in the bar. Going to the bathroom, walked by, and I was like, oh, it says 4-4. How did that happen? And then Jake Rogers hit a walk-off. And I'll be at the game today, Alfredo, so hopefully I don't bring the Mets any luck. Which, by the way, last talking point. So Luis Robert, who is once a prodigal star for the White Sox, got a very, very cold reception last night. When they were playing the replays from what I saw, I don't even think he got really any rounds of applause, way more boos. It was a very rough reception for Luis. So kind of shocking there. So anyways, guys, your favorite helmet, Chinmay, tickets 5 through 7 in the locker.
Yeah, this one is, I looked at a few options, but this one is not a debate for me. It is the Barry Sanders Hydro Speed Flex. If there's a video assigned to it, and you got to play the video, that thing looks, even though it's a Lions lid, that thing looks amazing with the blue matching visor. Yeah, that's a very unique Barry Sanders that I don't think we will be seeing too often in the locker.
We get a lot of two-tone colored lids in the room, but I agree. If you play that video, just the way that it's like done, it's overtaken by gray, but then once you get to the very front of the lid, you know, it's almost kind of like Venom in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, just claws onto his suit and just overtakes it. That's kind of how I feel about this blue. Beautiful Honolulu blue visor. It's 5 tickets right now, guys. Really, really great pick by you there. Damn it. Let me see what else I'm going to go because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to copy and paste here. The 5 through 7, there's not as many options.
There's another extreme Miami lid right next to it.
Marino. I'm going to go to the pro and college fusion. I got to go with the Josh Allen. The Josh Allen Cowboys and Bills.
We're seeing that a lot.
Yeah, we've actually had that there for a few days now. So Josh Allen usually gets gobbled up within the first, really, like couple hours that it's up. So I love that right there. I also love that I see an order coming in as well.
Yeah, we are 3 to go in that gridiron single. We're 3 to go in that gridiron single. And again,
let's go.
Gridiron is part of the Chase wheel spin. So if we do close out at least one break, we will randomize all the names in all the gridiron breaks that happen during this show. Top spot draw there gets a spin on the 1 to 100 wheel. Store credit going back your way. Not to mention you rise up on those standings to get the 10 golden tickets, which you would need if you're pursuing that LeBron James, Dwayne Wade basketball.
So speaking of that, that's what 80, right, for a single for the gridiron?
No, the grid.
Oh, that's 138.
Yeah,
it's 138.
I think you're thinking about a different series.
Different series.
The hard count is the 80.
You can win up to $100 back, right? You can win yourself one of the 9 great headliners that we have, which is going to be an authentic or a speed flex for just $38. If it's your lucky day, Chinmay has spun some triple digits. I've definitely spun my fair share of triple digits here. Or even if you get in the upper 90s, guys, you can get that single spot for $40 or $50.
Yeah, and I mean, the Chase wheel spin is great. No one's going to turn down the store credit. But what you really want is the 10 golden tickets that come at the end of this series. Exactly. That's your sort of big bucket list item because we're talking about the LeBron James Wade basketball. There's a couple of, 8 or 9 ticket items in there. But with 10 tickets, you could get 3 items, right? You could get 1 item that's worth 4 tickets and then 2 other items that are worth 3 tickets each. So you could get 3 items in the locker. You don't have to spend all 10 of those tickets on 1 item. You can spread the wealth, get 3 or 4 items even potentially in the locker, depending on how many other tickets you have. But everything in the locker is a minimum of 3 items. I haven't seen anything under 3 items. 3 tickets. Haven't seen anything under 3 tickets.
Not buying into 2 doubles and getting into the quad worked out for me last night. Got the quad signed. Rams, let's go.
Yeah.
There was a retro greatest show on turf Rams lid.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think Fredo reminded me yesterday. I think you commented on that early once we dropped that. Once we dropped the series for the quad signed Rams. So I think he said that it was one of his favorites that you saw. I know he was excited about it in the chat. So, and Fredo's a perfect example of it, right? If you would clearly have a lid or an item that catches your eye, you can sit there, you can stare at it all you want, you can lick your, phone screen or, monitor. But, unless you're going to, pay to play, you're never going to have a chance of winning that. You can take a screenshot of the PNG here on the website and be, guys, look what I found. Look what I won here at UA. And then your boys come over a week later and you're like, dude, where's the lid? Be like, oh, shipping's taking a little while.
Yeah.
But, the only way that you can win something like that is by getting into the break. So just to highlight what Chinmay is talking about there, this is the only series out of the 6 we have available on the webpage right now that has a prize attached to it. Just in case for those that have not jumped in or haven't read this yet, after a box winner is determined, our host, me and Chinmay, will show a digital board with 30 cards. The box number code will be the card that is revealed. The card outcome will either add or subtract funds. The goal is to have the most funds at the end of the series. The winner will receive 10 golden tickets in the event of a tie. There will be a top spot randomization. Here's the card. Now, Joe Lake, buddy, you are not on top. Devin Shinley is the top spot up here. Sadly, I cannot scroll up any higher, and I don't want to zoom out to potentially screw anything up. So, but Devin's got $225,000. But trust me, Tim Sullivan, Keith Frederick, and Herm Williams. Hermie is $25K behind. He's $200K. So, Herm, I know you're out there this morning with this, man. You should be somebody that's definitely a top player. Just get in that single, man.
Yeah.
You win an item. And again, I would probably be willing to bet. All you need is just, that square that you get with the win. Let's see what happens. By the way, huge shout out to Luke for creating this, man. Really, really cool stuff that we have here. So you can get a look at what's already happened, right? And again, these are all just kind of, fun little puns.
Mm-hmm.
Turnover margin, salary cap fine, not great. Prime time TV deal was $350K. So again, look at this. I see way more positives than negatives on this board. I've seen 1, 2, 3. I've seen 4 negative cards, and we've pulled 17 boxes in the series. So 14 positives, 3 negatives, right there. 4 negatives. So the odds are definitely in your favor to land something good besides this in the series. And by the way, many of you might not even be playing for the prize. You're like, dude, screw that. Give me the triple sign bear.
Yeah.
Give me the Stafford Speed Flex, which is worth about $1,700 retail. You, me, and Rick were talking earlier. This is probably about $1,200 or so, maybe even $1,300 retail. Randy Moss authentic, Trey Hendrickson authentic, both a little bit below $1,000, probably in the $800 to $900 range. But again, even if you land an authentic, which if you don't win a Speed Flex, you're going to get an authentic no matter what if you win in this series. Still going to be way, way more. Hell, even if you got into that quad and you win just one item on authentic, you are still earning your money back, and you have 4 bites of the apple
to
get in there.
There are golden tickets at play as well. 6 golden tickets available in that Gridiron series, within the series. Not where we're talking about the 10 at the end of the series, but there are 6 available within the series. AFC North doubling up with Trey Hendrickson potentially, and then NFC South as well for those golden ticket divisions.
Absolutely. And again, you always say here, payers play. Players play, payers pay. So again, where are we going to be rocking and rolling here, guys? Again, we've slowly been making some, instead of, sprinting through that checker tape, we are walking through it.
Yeah.
Save the casual strolls for Sunday. Save the Sundays for a walk in the park. Right now, I want this to be a nice sprint here towards the finish. Again, seeing a lot of 3s all over the place, the double for the minis, 3 in the Gridiron single. I'm going to do a quick top to bottom rundown once again for you guys. And then again, I got my little cheat sheet on my post-it note here. Chinmay and I are going to go into a nice long-winded discussion about this upcoming NFL season. Excited to talk to him about that. So I just went through the Gridiron series there, guys. 13 boxes, 9 headliners. Again, looking to close out these final 3 crates. If you see something that you love, you better get it because it won't be here for long. We have after this, just, 12, 3, 6. And then after the 10:30 tonight, guys, we'll have just 4 shows left of this high roller. This pops up once a month, and I think it's the 3rd week of every month that we do the high roller. So you're going to have to wait a month from now to get back into another high roller, folks. So you don't want that to happen. $505 for a crate. That is 3 boxes, and you'll be guaranteed one of these 3 headliners. Emmitt Smith Retro Speed Flex, Matthew Stafford Rivalry, and the Randy Moss Winter Warrior Speed Flex. Hard count, 4 headliners and 11 boxes. Just $79 to get into the single, $158 in the double. Both are feeling very, very lonely. Michael Irvin Mini, Andre Johnson Authentic, and the Trey Hendrickson beautiful Royal Raven Authentic as well with the LaShawn McCoy. Should double up with that Michael Irvin if it is on a Philadelphia Eagle. Game day multi-sport mixer. Again, nice PSA notice here. Sunday at 3 o'clock. Got a little bit more than 24 hours to get yourself into that bad boy. Tony Gonzalez rep, greatest tight end of all time with Jeremy Roenick on the Chicago Blackhawks. See what the secondary headliner is. Could be a sweater. Could be a hockey puck. Only one way to find out, folks. Jersey, 7 to go on the next double, $31 on the single, which is wide open for the taking. Andre Johnson, Fred Warner, LaShawn McCoy, Ray Lewis, and Chad Johnson. Double up with the Lewis and Johnson, most likely in that AFC North. And for the minis to finally go onto these, again, one of the closest series we have to closing right now. 3 on that upcoming double. 18 boxes, 7 headliners remaining. Quads wide open across the board as well. Adrian Peterson, we got a double up here with Lawrence Taylor on the STS and the standard Malik Neighbors. Andre Johnson, again, more Andre, more fun. Frank Gore, Kyron Williams, and the Texas Longhorn and Chief Great, and Jamal Charles. Okay, so again, guys, 11 people tuning in out there across all platforms. Just want to say what's up to all my Instagram peeps out there. A lot of people joining in this morning. Most recently, Chris Thompson, Richie Robinson, Jesus Largo, Traveling Jay. Jay, travel yourself into the break room. That's the next trip that you got to take, my friend. What's going on, peeps? Good to see you guys. So, I want to get ourselves, we're going to cover both conferences here. So, I'm going to create 2 post-it notes here. I talked about, so every single Saturday morning, Chinmay and I, during the regular season, would cover our spread picks for 3 separate games. What I'm going to do here, though, is that I'm going to get our divisional predictions for each conference. I'm going to get these post-it notes out here. So, again, there's no preparation for this, but I want us to get this out of the way here. So, I'll cover division by division. We're first going to start off in the AFC West, my friend. So, we're going to go Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs. We're going to go division winner. So, I will, of course, will toss it to you. We'll go throughout the entire AFC and then the NFC. So what are your thoughts for the West?
Okay, so the West Division, again, very competitive last year with the Broncos and the Chargers. They were the 2 teams that ultimately went out of that division to the playoffs. Broncos got the number 1 seed. The Chiefs kind of crashed out. Mahomes ultimately getting hurt. That was sort of the end-all, be-all there for the Chiefs' chances at anything, but they were out of the playoffs already at that point, I believe. At DraftKings, the Chiefs are actually the slight plus 160 favorites to win the AFC West. Then it is the Chargers at plus 190, and the Denver Broncos, who won 14 games last year and are the reigning division champs, are third at plus 225. So it's interesting that the Chiefs, who didn't even make the playoffs last year and lost, I think, like 5 in a row or 6 in a row at the end of the year, are the favorites to win that division. I don't think the Raiders are going to be competitive there. They'll be like a pesky team. They'll be an interesting team, but I don't think they're actually going to be competitive in that division. I don't know how I can pick against the Broncos.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go with Denver.
All right.
Even though I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan. People who have watched this show many times know that. Even though I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan, I think they got some good weapons for him. Jalen Waddle, Evan Ingram coming in at tight end. They have both running backs in now with Dobbins and Harvey. And he's in year 3 in Sean Payton's system. I think that offense will be better. I don't know if it'll be elite, but I think it'll be better than it was at times last year. And I can't count on the Chiefs and Chargers with this much confidence. The Broncos have the better overall roster than both of those teams. I'm going to go Denver to win the AFC West.
Yeah, okay, so Denver, very, very good pick. I can't go against it. Like you said, led the NFL in wins last year. Now, again, people can conjure that up to whatever it is. The Raiders were dog water. The Chiefs were hurt after the Mahomes injury. I don't think they won a single game, if I remember correctly, after the Mahomes injury. So, and again, the Chargers, regular season kings, postseason frauds over the last number of seasons. So I agree. I think that Denver has the most well-rounded roster. No doubt about that. But I'm going to do something I have never done with this team because, for me, I think that this is very, very important for them to do because they haven't gotten over the hump in the postseason in the Harbaugh and Herbert era. But I do think this is the year that we see a minor breakthrough for the Los Angeles Chargers. Reason for that, and again, it's super tough because a lot of the times, like we saw with Denver last year, a lot of it is banking on health. You could argue that last year, Denver had the best defense in the NFL. They had multiple Pro Bowl guys all across the board, even some all-pro guys, like a Nick Bonito on the defensive side of the ball. But the Chargers, I just think it's one of those situations where I love their first-round draft pick in Akeem Mesidor. The guy is going to be an instant addition. He's not a young kid, very seasoned college kid that's going to come in and help. If Amari and Hampton's healthy on the offensive side of the ball, it's going to give something that the Chargers haven't had a great deal of in the Herbert era, and that's a legitimate running game. I'm really going to like the addition if he is healthy in this offense. And again, last year they were a playoff team last year without Slater, and then they still have who is Joe Alt on the other side of the line. So two of the best offensive linemen to protect Herbert. I like Harbaugh a lot. Great culture setter. They've done nothing but winning since they've been there. Their secondary and defense is a little bit on the older side of the football, but they still got guys like Derwin James, Khalil Mack on the the twilight part of his career.
Yeah.
But I think they got a good blend of young guys, veteran mix. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers this year.
All right.
And I already regret saying that, but you know what? I think this could be the year of the Chargers. So,
if you are a Chargers fan,
yes.
in that Gridiron series,
Omarion Hampton
that would be an authentic helmet. Omarion Hampton,
right there,
a very promising player after a good rookie season. He's going to be taken highly in fantasy football drafts. Going to be a popular target. Chargers might be moving away from the running game a bit, but Mike McDaniel has always wanted to get the running backs involved in the passing game as well, and Omarion Hampton would probably be their preferred guy to be their pass catching back as well.
100%.
So Hampton should get a lot of touches this season.
What's up, Foog? Good to see you, buddy. Happy Saturday morning, Dougie.
How's it going, Doug?
Good to see you, bud. Speaking of, since you chose Denver, just because there's no headliners for Denver does not mean they're in the hidden gems. We actually get a lot of Denver hidden gems here in the break room. I'll be excited to see Jalen Waddle added to that. Hopefully at some point, because we used to get a lot of Dolphins
talked about
for
Mike
him.
Evans and AJ Brown on different memorabilia. Jalen Waddle would be on a Broncos lid now, after previously being on Miami.
Let's see. I updated the time for our fantasy draft next Sunday. Yeah, what time we rocking and rolling that? I'll make sure I'm on the producer side of that of things when we rock and roll. So now for the AFC South. Now the AFC South was uber competitive last year, much more competitive than I think people probably gave it credit for. So what are the vibes in the South for you this year?
Yeah, the South was very interesting because you had the Colts get off to that phenomenal start, and then Daniel Jones got hurt and everything unraveled. But also the Jags and the Texans both had insane winning streaks to end the year. The Jags won 8 in a row. The Texans won 9 in a row. Both made the postseason. The Texans are the plus 110 favorite at DraftKings. The Jags are plus 245. Colts plus 380. And the Titans are plus 800.
Okay.
Similar to what I did in the AFC West, I'm not going to go with the favorite, but I'm not going to go with the third favorite either. I'm going to take the Jags at plus 245. Even though ETN is gone, I think Trevor Lawrence continues to grow in Liam Cohen's offense. They found an absolute stud in Parker Washington. I thought he was going to be a good player coming out of college. I didn't think he would make that type of impact right away. Brian Thomas Jr. should be better this year. I'm going to go with Jacksonville to win the AFC South. But I think it'll be very close between Jacksonville and Houston.
Yeah, and because you say it's going to be so close, I'm going to be the contrarian. I'm going to take the chalk pick, as we like to call it here.
All right.
I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Like the Jags a lot, no doubt about it. I really, really like the Liam Cohen edition.
Mm-hmm.
And something that Trevor Lawrence hasn't had a whole lot of his tenure in Jacksonville, consistency.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of consistency on the offensive side, especially when it comes to the play calls for him in Jacksonville. Think that they're going to have a very good season. Think they're a very well-rounded team. But Houston, I might be the biggest Houston supporter on staff. I was super high on them because of their defense last year. They paid a guy.
We have the Andre Johnson collection.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Andre Johnson across the board. I'll show you guys that, where you can find him in the break room. Here in the Hard Count Series 4 Headliners 11 boxes is in the Authentic. As I give my Texans a love, I'll show the love to Andre as we go through the break page here. I love the defense. Any team that can give me such dominant defense, again, with Will Anderson up front, Derek Stingley in the secondary alongside Azeez Al-Shahir, and DeMeco Ryans can coach his ass off on the defensive side of the football. The biggest question is, what is going to go on with them offensively this year? The addition of David Montgomery, I think, is going to give them more stability. Don't have to rely on CJ Stroud as much back there. Again, they were kind of going through by committee last year. Nick Chubb, Woody Marks, and company. Nico Collins is a all-pro level wide receiver. CJ Stroud, this is going to be year 4 for CJ. This has got to be the year where he shows flashes of what he did as a breakout star his rookie season. And again, I agree with you. I think it'll probably be a game difference between the first and second team. So I'm just going to edge out the Texans. I don't think they should be a plus 110 favorite. That seems a little too extreme. A little too much juice for Houston. But moving right along, give me your AFC North, my friend.
Yeah, so I know we have Trey Hendrickson on a lot of Ravens stuff, but I'm actually, because of the valuation on the odds board here, and I actually again believe it's just an injury question, right? For all three of these teams, I'm gonna say that the Bengals and specifically Joe Burrow stays healthy. I'm just gonna say that Joe Burrow stays healthy, and the Bengals are my AFC North winner. They are plus 184 right now. The Ravens are minus 112. I think there's just value on the Bengals there from a wagering perspective. So I would lean Cincinnati, and if it's just an injury question, I'll take Cincinnati and Joe Burrow being healthy. Joe Burrow actually recently talked about, like, he's tired about saying next year, this is the year I want to make things happen. So he's obviously motivated to get back out there. And I think even if they had to go with Flacco for a game or two, they could be okay, as long as Burrow plays most of the games, which I think he will. So yeah, give me Cincinnati to win the AFC North.
Will this be the year that he actually gets decent protection from his offensive line? That's going to be another key. See, we got an order coming in here.
We are 3 to go in the Gridiron Quad.
Nice. So who chipped in there?
The single and the quad are both at 3 to go. So it's like a tortoise and hare situation here. Except maybe it's two tortoises. They're slowly inching away.
Hey,
at single or quad.
By the way, we accept ties. If both tortoises want to cross the line at the same time,
we will open both, or we will honor both breaks.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the quad obviously gives you more opportunities at more helmets, and there is a triple up opportunity with the NFC North with Randy Moss, the triple sign Bears lid, and Mike Singletary. Most likely Mike Singletary will be on a bear.
Yeah, definitely. Good call there. And I think that's what between that and the golden tickets, right?
Yeah.
How about the 3 golden tickets and Trey Hendrickson? Again, all across the board, there's a lot of great possibilities there. The AFC North, I just mentioned. The NFC South will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that'll probably have a hidden gem in there somewhere out of one of the 4. And like Chinmay just mentioned, you got a nice triple up in the NFC North. Speaking of the North.
But it will be an authentic helmet.
Correct.
We know that. We know that the 3 speed flexes are the Stafford speed flex, the Bears triple sign, and then the Calvin Johnson. The Calvin Johnson's already been pulled. But the other 2 speed flexes are on the board. So we know that every other helmet in this series will be an authentic helmet.
And just so you guys know, with the $552 price point, even with the hidden gem secondary being an authentic helmet, you're still getting value back. You're still going to be getting value back, even if you end up getting one win that is an authentic helmet. So, speaking of the North real quick, Chinmay right now doing our way too early 2026, 2027 predictions.
It's not way too early. We're like 3 weeks away.
Fair enough. No, I'm just saying, knowing my luck, I'll end up taking, Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson will be out with a boo-boo for a long time.
Sure.
Which, speaking of, Foog's going with you. He's agreeing with the Bengals as well. Big-time Steelers fan, so I know that pains him to say. But out of the 4 teams in that division, Cleveland, sorry, you're always going to be relegated to the bottom of the North. Pittsburgh, the Kings of 9-8, 8-9. I think it's a 2-team horse between Cincinnati and Baltimore, barring injury. And again, I'm playing the ultimate contrarian. I'm going to take Baltimore. I like the addition of Jesse Minter. You mentioned this earlier. Trey Hendrickson, of course, by the way.
It'll be very fascinating to see how that defense, because they have good players on that defense.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, a lot of Pro Bowl, all-pro guys. Trey Hendrickson, get him right now in the gridiron as well. Double up with him in the AFC North golden tickets. Again, not just his addition, but again, I think that they have in terms of, and again, everything comes down to health, but I think especially their offensive side of the ball, if their defense can at least be league average, if Lamar, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, any combination of those guys stay healthy, I love offenses that have a very high floor.
Yeah.
And again, the run game for Baltimore is about as high, probably outside of Buffalo. They have the highest floor in terms of the run game. You can win in any climate. The run game travels at home, on the road, especially once you get later in the season. It'll come down to, truthfully, in that division, who plays best head-to-head in the AFC North against the other AFC North teams. Again, if Joe Burrow and that offense is healthy, completely agree. They'll have a top 5 offense by the end of the year, especially with T. Higgins coming back again. But I'm going to take Baltimore, just edging them out. I think having the the new vibes, the new flavor of Jesse Minter in the locker room. I think that'll automatically give them a higher defensive
And I can
floor.
say, and Doug's a Steelers fan, so I'll say this for the Steelers. And I know, it pains me to say this somewhat because he delivered a Super Bowl for Green Bay. If they didn't have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and they had a more competent quarterback who could push the ball down the field more, open up that offense a little bit more. Not to say that Rodgers can't make those throws. He's shown that he's not really capable of that anymore at this stage of his career. They would have a pretty good offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle is a pretty good running back combination.
Yeah, DK.
Pat Freiermuth at tight end and Darnell Washington is a good tight end combination.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman. It's a very good wide receiver combination.
Great pickup for Pittsburgh.
So they have the skill positions for sure. But it's just a matter of who's pulling that trigger at quarterback. And unfortunately, at this stage of his career, Aaron Rodgers, I don't believe is that guy.
Speaking of a couple guys we haven't seen in the break room quite a which, by the way, Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure you saw it in the locker.
Yes.
First time a beautiful drip speed flex that got redeemed a few days ago. Haven't seen Pittman and DK in the break room in a long time. So hopefully with their new teams, we can see them. Well, DK is second year, obviously. Pittman is new team.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we see them there. So I agree with Foog's division. I'm assuming that's how yours would line up. Copy and paste with how yours looks.
Yeah.
Obviously flip Baltimore and Pittsburgh for me. And you're as good as gold on that. So rounding out the AFC, Chinmay and I, kind of like most of our spread picks, we do not see eye to eye. We have been different on every single pick so far. AFC East. Obviously, the AFC East, looking at that division, kind of like the AFC North in our opinions. I kind of think it's going to be a two-horse race. I do see some improvements. Miami, it's going to kind of be, sorry, Rip, it's going to be a Russian roulette type of season.
Oh, he's aware.
Yeah,
he's aware.
They are just hoping for something to
he's
stick.
aware.
Can Malik Willis run a competent offense? And then the Jets. I like the Jets defense a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, how good is that defense going to be if there's going to be a lot of projected 3 and outs? Not a lot of great field position for the Jets. How often are they going to keep the offense out on the field? Hey, Aaron Glenn thinks Geno Smith is the guy. So we'll see how long that prediction lasts.
Yeah.
But speaking of my friend, what do you think of that division?
It's very interesting because the Jets last year, I want to say in week 1, I'm gonna look it up, but I want to say that they didn't win the game. They didn't win the game, but as Doug knows, that Steelers-Jets game was phenomenal. We were talking about two teams that we didn't know how their offenses were going to look. We didn't know if they were going to be able to move the ball a lot.
Yep.
34-32 was the final score of that game. Justin Fields looked phenomenal in that game for the Jets.
He has once a year great performance.
Aaron Rodgers looked good for the Steelers. It looked like, the Jets were going to be much better than we thought they were. They lost their first 7 games, obviously. But of those 7 games, you had 5 of them be 1-score games.
Okay.
So the Jets are kind of teetering on that brink of like being close to being a winning organization. Not saying competitive, but a winning type of team. And obviously, the bottom fell out at the end of the season once their quarterback problems started hitting. I don't personally believe Geno Smith is the guy. He's just coming off a year where he set a career high in interceptions thrown. So I don't really believe in the Jets. This is probably the division where it truly is a 2-team race in the AFC. All the other divisions, we've talked about a third team potentially being in there, especially in the AFC West. But we've talked about a third team being in there. This is the only one where I think it's only 2 teams with the Bills and the Patriots. I like the A.J. Brown edition for New England, but I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. I think new head coach Joe Brady gets going with a division title for Buffalo. So I'm gonna go with the Bills to win the AFC East.
What's up, Den? Good morning to you, buddy. Which, by the way, how long until you think Jets fans can start saying you're gonna get clubbed this week? When they start K Club Nick. Let's see how long that goes. But quick evaluation of the AFC East. I'm with you on the Jets. Played a lot of close games last year. But again, until I start to see a semblance of a decent offense, they got decent pieces, right? Yeah. And again, I think that defense, they got a lot of young pieces. That should be fun. Miami, sorry, Rip, and everybody that's a Dolphins fan. It's a story for a different time. Hey, the Cardinals are in the same boat, man, so I get it. It'll come down to a 2-horse race. I am not going to be contrarian like everybody else. Oh, New England got got to the Super Bowl. The Super Easy schedule and injury. You get to the Super Bowl, you win, 13 games like they did?
Yeah.
You got to give them on their merit. Now, again, like you mentioned, the addition of A.J. Brown, and Romeo Dobbs. Their offense has a much higher floor now because of that. Drake May, second MVP.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to have a bad taste in their mouth because he didn't look good in his first Super Bowl. Oh my God, a guy in his third year, or a guy in his second year last year, didn't play good in the Super Bowl. Wow, a second year quarterback didn't play well in the Super Bowl. Kick rocks. But I think it will be very close. But I am with you, believe it or not. It's going to be Buffalo coming out of the AFC.
All right, we're aligned on at least something so far.
Yeah, and I think, look, I'm a huge... Watching my Sox, I know, shocker. Sorry guys, I'm gonna bring this back to the Sox. Watching the Sox this year, this team made me believe in vibes.
Yeah,
clubhouse. I think with the new stadium, like you mentioned, Joe Brady, and again, I think Sean McDermott was a very good head coach, but unfortunately, he was the scapegoat. Shockingly, he hasn't caught on anywhere, which is kind of surprising.
I think the new thing now for these like veteran coaches is to take a year away. Right, like Vrabel took time off. Yeah. Tomlin has taken time off. McCarthy took some time off.
Yeah,
Belichick took a year off. Like all these guys are the new thing now is like I'm gonna take a year away. Jim Harbaugh was contemplating taking some time away. Right, so there was a question of whether John Harbaugh would do the same thing. So I think that's the new thing. Like. You just got to take a year away, and maybe people will be like, "Hey, remember this guy who was kind of good? Like, maybe we should hire him again."
Oh,
so So I think that's the new thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And guys, we're at about the 10:45 mark here, getting close to about 15 minutes. We're gonna go to at least 11 o'clock again. You folks at home, you are the ones with the keys for the car. Chinmay and I were running back the same Chin Rob show. Rob May, whatever you want to call us. I got to let Richard Kane pop in and create that nickname. We're running it back at the 12 o'clock hour. Chin May and I will do a little switcheroo Saturday for you folks. But again, we can go basically up until the following hour if we really get explosive and catch fire.
And we've done that before on a couple instances. So it is possible that we just breeze through that 11 a.m. Hour.
Yeah, going to 11 p.m. might be a little tough. There'll be a lot of side eyes from some of our coworkers staring at us. So, what's up, Den? Where did you place my Colts? We didn't officially say it, but Chinmay went with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I went with the Houston Texans. I would probably have the Colts third. In my opinion, I would have the Jags 2, Colts 3. And then who else am I forgetting?
Tennessee.
Oh, my goodness.
Tennessee.
I think Tennessee is going to be sneaky bad. They're going to be a fun...
I think
like they'll
be a pesky team.
They're going to be a pesky team for sure. So.
I just think the Colts, right? Like, I think the whole Daniel Jones thing last year took people by surprise.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Jones reverts to kind of the Daniel Jones that we've come to know.
Danny Dimes and Danny Derps. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a somewhat rough season for the Colts.
Yeah, I see them being a ceiling team. Look, I think if everything goes well for the Colts, I see them maxing out at like 9 or 10 wins.
I think it's less than that even.
Yeah, like I'm saying like ceiling, like best case scenario. Yeah,
yeah,
but
I see them as like a 6 to 7 win team.
I say 7 and 10 is very realistic. Yeah. Sorry, Dad. Hopefully we're both wrong for your sake, buddy. So going across to the NFC now. Again, feel free to chime in. Foog's done a great job of it. He said I wouldn't mind seeing the Bengals win it all this year. I would have to drive 35 minutes for me just to go see the city go nuts.
Yeah,
I've spoken like a true Steelers fan there, Doug. So going across to the NFC, we're going to do the same thing top on down. We started off with the West and the AFC. We'll do the same for the NFC. Go for it.
The NFC West is probably the best top to bottom division because of the top 3 teams. The Rams are the -105 favorites. The reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks are +215, and the San Francisco 49ers are +305.
Okay.
It's so tough because, again, one game separated basically all of these teams last year in this division race. The Rams are just too much talent on paper.
Yeah,
there's just, you can't pick against them until unless it truly like all unravels. We've seen like the super team monikers before. The Rams are a different level of super team. I think Los Angeles wins the NFC West.
That's really hard, man, with a roster comprised of over 50 players to call that a super team. But essentially, like you said, the Duffy and Garrett trade we talked about earlier, looking real. We've seen Myles Garrett. I've seen Myles Garrett once, by the way, in a new Rams lid. So I'm really excited to see him popping into the break room and seeing that. Hopefully some Trent McDuffie merch comes across as well. But I mean, I'm with you. There's just, until you can prove to me that, despite injuries or what have you, it'll still be incredibly competitive because the Niners and the Seahawks, you can make a case
they're going to be very competitive, but
they're too loaded.
The big reason for me, that guy that's sitting in the Gridiron Tycoon on the speed flex, Matthew Stafford.
I think he's honestly the key to that for Stafford. Well, again, he's just coming off an MVP season, but it's his age 38 year coming up. Will he actually start to show signs of cracks forming with Staff this year?
I think he's going to be laser focused. I don't know if he repeats his MVP because it's hard to repeat his MVP, but he's going to come close. He's going to come close.
No, for sure. So I think that's the presumptuous favorites, which, by the way, this is what we talked about. Matthew Stafford, beautiful rivalry speed flex guys. The king of the NFC West, according to Chinmay and I, popping up here.
It's already a very valuable helmet. Yes. Rob was talking about the retail price. Not inconceivable that it gains substantial value by this time next year if Matthew Stafford wins another MVP, wins another Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And there might be some doubts, though, about what the NFC South is going to look like. With the way that division transpired, Tampa Bay got off to a great start the first number of weeks, and things talk about falling with the bottom falling out. That's what happened in Tampa Bay the last 2 months of the season. Carolina, I'm going to give them credit, but I'm going to say that division was kind of won by default. Do you believe what Carolina's building, or are you going to go another direction for the NFC South?
So here are the odds for the NFC South.
It's close, right?
It's the Bucks. The Bucks are the favorites, but they are plus 170 favorites.
Okay.
So not really a vote of confidence there for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
New Orleans is next, actually, at plus 270, despite the Jordan Tyson injury, despite the Alvin Kamara injury. New Orleans plus 270. Obviously, the odds makers liking what Kellen Moore did at the end of last season with Tyler Shuck. The Panthers are plus 310, and the Falcons are plus 400. All four teams are pretty close together in terms of division odds when you look at some of the spreads across, like the Rams are minus 105 and your Arizona Cardinals are plus 10,000.
That's it.
This spread is plus 170 to plus 400. Not a big divide there. Speaking of a guy that we haven't seen a lot recently in the break room, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Has not been in the break room that often of late.
Baker.
Probably because he didn't get the contract that he wanted. The Bucks were like, I don't want to say, actually, I will say it because it's essentially what happened. They were essentially called out at the end of last season by their coaching staff.
Yeah.
Right. Like before the last game, last few games, Todd Bowles basically said, like, the coaches have done all they can. It's up to the players now. And they went on. They had a lot of injuries. Baker was hurt as well. If you watch the new quarterback season, Baker talks about his injury and kind of playing through it. I think Tampa Bay gets back to prominence here in the NFC South. Give me the Bucks. I think Baker has a good season, motivated by the contract probably, but who isn't? So I'll lean with Tampa Bay here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is probably the toughest division for me to decide. And Vita Vea also requesting a trade out.
Yeah, but he's coming back.
He is coming back, yeah. but even him as a veteran, a guy that's been through all the trials and tribulations of being an NFL pro. Guy was a superstar back in the day as well. One of the best run stoppers in the NFL. Mm-hmm. For a guy of that caliber to even contemplate coming out and saying that publicly shows that there is a lot of dysfunction at the top for me. I was very surprised that Todd Bowles was not let go at the end of this past season. So clearly he's got a great relationship with the front office there. A lot of veteran guys in place. Emeka Egbuka is not going to be rising presumptuously to number one with Mike Evans not being in San Fran. Mm-hmm. At the way that they closed the end of last season, it's kind of scared me a little bit, man. I'm going to go with what I saw I really want to take New Orleans. I really, really do. But again, like you said, some early injuries. I love what Kellen Moore's building. I love Kellen Moore as an offensive mind as a head coach.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, this is a vibes pick. Give me Carolina.
Okay.
Run it back with Carolina though.
Okay.
They were ultra competitive against the Rams in that wild card playoff game. That really showed me a lot. Bryce Young.
They actually beat the Rams in the regular season.
Yeah. So I think that Carolina could play spoiler for a lot of teams, but I could see Carolina winning that division with 10 games this year. Again, their defense is the biggest thing. It's got to grow. We got to see. But again, Jonathan Brooks, hopefully he's finally healthy, full season. Hence why Rico Dowdle is now in Pittsburgh. Really, really like Teteroa McMillan in the season he had last year. Bryce Young I like a lot, but Dave Canales, I really, really like what he's built. So it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah.
NFC North. Get to your division, my friend.
It's kind of our division. You're a little bit of a Bears fan, too.
A little bit of a Vikings. I kind of, depending on where the wind blows.
This is very similar. The spread, the kind of divide is not as much in this division either. It's kind of like what we were talking about with the NFC South. The Lions are the favorites, actually. But again, plus 170 favorites.
Yeah.
The Vikings are fourth, plus 510. So not a huge divide. Packers are second at plus 225. The Bears are third at plus 305. The reason Green Bay is probably at plus 225 right now is because we don't have a good timeline for when Micah Parsons is coming back. Parsons is expected to be back in the first 4 weeks. He's probably not going to be put on the PUP list. He's probably not going to go on IR either. I want to say week 3. It could be week 4, though. Let's see exactly what the schedule looks like for the Packers. Yeah, so week 4 is, so I actually do think week 4 is week 3 is probably when it does happen, because week 4 is when it happens because they're on a short week for week 3.
Okay.
So he would be having less time to prepare on week 3. So I do think it'll be week 4 for Micah Parsons. That being said, I don't know that the Lions are as sort of high flying, right? Ben Johnson clearly had a huge impact on that team offensively. I'm going to go with Green Bay, but if Parsons is not back by week 4, I think we could see some major problems for the Packers. Especially defensively.
Well,
they've got good players on all 3 levels. They are counting on some major improvement in the secondary. Keyshawn Nixon is still on the team. Like I just, again, that I could spend the next 6 minutes and then the next hour talking about why I feel this is a mistake. But Parsons is the key for that entire defense.
Yeah,
and we saw it last year. They have good players across the board, but without Micah Parsons, they are not a top 10 defense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you said, you took the thoughts right out of my brain there. I'll start with Green Bay. So your favorite in the NFC North, you're going to go?
I'm going to go Packers. I'm going to go Packers.
Go Green Bay?
Yeah.
All right, my man. Stick to your guns.
Yeah, I'm going to go Packers with the
Love it.
With the contingency that I think it'll be tough for them to necessarily win the division if Parsons does not come back in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, no, I love it. Stick to your Packers, man. You got to, especially when they got a really, really talented team on paper. But again, Parsons, like you said, the injury last year, you clearly saw. It wasn't a coincidence that I don't want to go as far as
they lost all their games after that.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't want to say
Jordan collapsed. Jordan Love got hurt too, so that you're missing your quarterback and your best defensive player. You're probably not going to win a lot of games anyway. But yeah, their defense was going from stopping people to not stopping anybody. And for those in fantasy football leagues, that Derrick Henry game in a lot of people's championship games, that was against the Green Bay Packers. And if Micah Parsons is on that team, not saying that Derrick Henry still couldn't do what he did. I doubt that he would have done what he did.
Makes a lot more
had Parsons been on the field.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, we talked about this team a little bit last week. Going through teams really quick, I like the Vikings a lot. But again, this is an ultra competitive division. You're really splitting hairs with this. Got to see how the offense is going to look. It's going to be new and improved, obviously, under Kyler Murray, as we anticipated to be. Kevin O'Connell, trust with my life when it comes to calling games on offense. But again, a lot of change. They had to cut a lot of salary going into this year. Vikings are a huge TBD. I think they can really go one way or another. All 4 teams in this division, honest to God, have a case to end up winning the division.
All 4 teams finished above 500 last year.
So going to Chicago. Chicago, the reigning NFC North champs, had truly I don't want to go as far as to say a Cinderella run, a very unexpected run, but I think that this is sustainable for them being very good in that division. Despite what some people think here, Bears prediction behind you being 11-6 on their upcoming schedule this year, I could see that being the case. But there is a difference between being the hunters and the hunted. Very, very different expectations. Their schedule is also going to reflect that as well. I like Chicago a lot, but their defense to me does concern me. Guys like Kyler Gordon, never healthy. Jalen Johnson has been inconsistently on and off the field. Ben Johnson wants to create the greatest offense of all time. Put up or shut up for Ben Johnson. Love the offense, though. They just paid Darnell Wright the biggest contract ever for a left tackle. We'll see how that goes in Chicago with that. Green Bay as well, huge on their offense. I'm a big Jordan Love guy. Not a fan at all of the Christian Watson extension, like Jaden Reed a lot. Tucker Kraft coming back is a major part of that offense for Green Bay. Like you said, very young secondary, not one you can trust a lot, and I agree. The better your pass rush is, the better your secondary will be. It hinges a lot on one defensive player in Micah Parsons. So with that being said, just one in my order of how I think the division's going to go. That leaves me with the Detroit Lions atop the totem pole for the NFC North.
Okay.
I can see them going worst to first in this division because of how their salary cap looks, because of how much of a win now mode that they are in. I understand the loss of David Montgomery, but I think Isaiah Pacheco, if he's healthy, it'll be a seamless transition. But they need that secondary to stay healthy. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Aiden Hutchinson. Just like Micah for Green Bay, that's what Aiden Hutchinson is to this Detroit defense. They have looked really, really bad, especially with their linebacking core at times. But their offense is about as steady as the wind blows. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs might win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
With Penei Sewell, what are the other 4 linemen going to look like? I don't know. But Penei Sewell might be the best offensive lineman in the game of football. Give me Detroit by a hair.
Yeah, and again, Bears fans, a lot of Bears fans around the Chicago area, a lot of Bears fans here at the UA office, obviously. I think there's a good case for and against the Bears here, right? Obviously, the schedule toughens up. You can't keep coming back in the fourth quarter like that against better teams. But the Bears I did not think the discrepancy would be this close. The Bears played 11 one-score games last year across their regular season. They were 7-4 in one-score games.
Wow.
Not quite as extreme as what you may have thought, given the ice in the veins and the fourth quarter comebacks and all that stuff. So it's not like they'll have too much regression in terms of the one-score games.
Yeah.
Now the schedule toughens up substantially, and I think they have a very tough stretch to open things out. Obviously, the Jets and the Falcons probably not going to be the toughest tasks. That Falcons game is on the road, though. But they have, from weeks 3 through 9, they have the Eagles, they got the Jets, they're at Green Bay, at Atlanta, the Patriots, Seahawks, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all before the bye. The Jets and the Falcons, they should probably beat. Those other games,
Coin flips,
are very tough.
Yeah.
And you got Green Bay on the road and Seattle on the road. So that's a very tough stretch. And then again, last 3 games or weeks 15 through 18, they got at Buffalo, Green Bay, Detroit, at Minnesota. Not exactly 100%. An easy stretch to close the year either. So the schedule's definitely toughening up for Chicago. And I do think that, they won 11 games last year. They might still be a good team. It's just the win total might not be reflected because the schedule is toughening up, and these teams are aware now of the capabilities of Caleb Williams and the Chicago offense.
No, 100%. And guys, what's going on? Ultimate Autographs Live Break Room, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at Chinmay. This is Rob. We're just past the 11 o'clock hour. We got one more division to go. So we'll wrap that up in a second. Still threes across the board. Looking from coast to coast here. The minis are at 3 to go. Single and quad for the gridiron, full size, and speed flex. Again, we got 9 headliners, 13 boxes, and 6 golden tickets. Very, very shocked that we have not done a break in here. We made it the Chase Wheel Spin. We've been talking about the Bears. Chinmay was just going through their schedule. Have a tri-signed Chicago Bears speed flex. Jay Calder, Matt Forte, and Devin Hester. Triple up with Randy Moss Authentic and that Mike Singletary. Probably on an Authentic there in the secondary. We got 6 golden tickets. AFC North, 3 golden tickets. Doubles up with Trey Hendrickson. Matthew Stafford, rivalry speed flex. Retail going for about $1,700. Omari Hampton, first round rookie running back last year for the Chargers, and Hall of Famer Warren Moon had a line in the secondary. So it doesn't look like we're going to really get in anything here. We're going to go through the NFC East, and then we'll end up signing off. No Chase Wheel Spin for this show. Again, Chinmay will be over here for the 12 o'clock. I will be over there. So please make sure to not touch that dial. Still got 16 people tuning in, and we will be back then, guys. But again, so for the NFC, I've rocked the Rams, Carolina, and Detroit. You got the Rams, Buccaneers, and Packers. What's your guess for the NFC East this year?
Yeah, interesting odds table here in the NFC East. Eagles, the plus 120 favorites. Cowboys at plus 205. The Commanders at plus 500. And then the New York Giants at plus 600. So that Harbaugh bump not necessarily being looked at favorably by the odds makers necessarily. Wow. There are some big questions for each team, really, in this division, right? Yeah. Eagles is, will the new offensive coordinator work? Departure of A.J. Brown, will that help sort of the locker room vibes? Cowboys, can their defense stop anybody? Commanders, can Jaden Daniels stay healthy? Yeah. New York Giants, how much of an impact can John Harbaugh have on a talented, promising young core that also has a propensity to get hurt? Yeah, I just think I'm going to go with Philly just because I think that's the least concerning question mark. Even though their offense looked horrible last year for long stretches, they won that division. Their offense just has to be a touch better, a touch more dynamic to be the best team in that division substantially. I think the other teams have major questions. I actually don't even think the odds don't reflect how much of a discrepancy I actually think there is between all these teams. Like, I think the Eagles should be favored by more.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like you said, I think there's a lot of question marks, and rightfully so across the board. But gotta play the ultimate contrarian. My biggest hot take is that Philadelphia finishes 3rd in this division.
Wow. Okay.
I think that Philadelphia takes a major step back. On paper, their roster most well balanced out of all 4 teams in this division. But look, I think that every year we kind of have a team or two that clearly doesn't step up to expectations. A lot of people probably thought that last year was really the low mark. 11 wins, they still won the division, but they got embarrassed in that first playoff game at home against really an undermanned defense for the Niners. Yeah. Got it truthfully embarrassed last year. I think they regress significantly this year. I could see them playing around a game over 500. And again, I'm not a Sirianni guy. Never have, never will be. And again, I think A.J. Brown is going to be a bigger loss than some people think. Sure. But again, I'm not predicting any injuries. Nobody can ever do that. I'm just much higher on Dallas. I have Dallas winning the NFC East because I think of how high-powered their offense is. I think it's the best offense in that division. And defensively, like you said, will they be able to stop anybody? I think the second year now of having, Schottenheimer at the helm, they get Matt Eberflus out of there. He's one and done for a reason. I look at Dallas's defense the same way I view Baltimore's. I think you could only go up from here. If Dallas is a top, they're going to have to be to win that division, probably a top 3 offense and points scored in the league. But even if they have somewhere in the ballpark of a league average defense, maybe even a little bit below, I think they can score enough to get themselves 11 wins. Yeah. And win
we saw Drew Brees and Sean Payton rack up wins with the worst defense in the league. So they don't necessarily have to be the worst. They just have to be probably in the low 20s, high teens. Yeah. To have a chance. 100%. I agree with you on that assessment.
Yeah.
But those are the top 2 favorites here. So.
Yeah, guys, thank you. And again, really, we had the one jersey to kick us off as a pre-fill. Unfortunately, got shut out the rest of the way. But as we know here, if the 9 a.m. show gets off to a little bit of a lethargic start, we know that things will explode coming up to the 12 o'clock hour. 6 series, 9 headliners, 6 golden tickets in the gridiron. We still have the Gonzalez and Roenick for the last 2 headliners in the game day. High roller, 3 crates, 3 headliners, Smith, Moss, and Stafford. The hard count, 4 headliners left, headlined by Trey Hendrickson and Andre Johnson, authentic. The minis, Elite Double Up, Malik Neighbors and Lawrence Taylor. Then we have Fred Warner, LaShawn McCoy, Ray Lewis and Andre Johnson, and Chad Johnson to headline the jerseys. Any final thoughts before you crown the host seat in the 12 o'clock?
No, it was great going through the NFL divisions with you.
Yeah, man.
Scanned the break page. There's a lot of great stuff happening. Excited to see us continue to chip away here in the break, and then we'll get back here at noon and hopefully have more items on the table out for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome job by you as always, man. Fun discussion as always. If you enjoyed things, make sure to hit that like and share button. We have so much more coming up for you guys. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. Goodbye, adios, and we will see you guys on the other side in just a little under an hour.